Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lesmeries joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Friday edition of the program. Absolutely loaded up. Busy week, and football practice for real around here starts next week. Doug going to join at 9:30, so a couple hours earlier than normal. He'll join at 9:30. He was out in Vegas all week. We'll get his perspective on the week that was for the Big Ten at 10 o'clock. What we learned this week, I got some words for Tony Petitti. We'll get to that. Tim May going to join us at 10:30, and then at 11 o'clock, 20 most interesting programs. Is this the year for the Nittanies? They certainly think so, and it's set up for them. The schedule's set up decently for them. They have the returning quarterback, if not now, when, for the Penn State Nittany Lions. This happened towards the end of our show yesterday, the death of Hulk Hogan, and had some more time to kind of think about it and try to put it into proper perspective. And, well, that's it, right? I mean, that's it. That's WrestleMania 8, Detroit Silverdome. I mean, I think the more I thought about it, I just kind of landed on, I think he was Babe Ruth, is kind of what I think he was. I think he was the most important professional wrestler of all time. I think he probably legitimized it in the eyes of some, not in the eyes of most. I mean, he was a pop culture phenomenon. And if you are of a certain age, well, really, if you're of two certain ages, but if you're a man and you're 40 and you're a kid of the 80s and early 90s, he was omnipresent. I mean, he was around as much and as visible as Michael Jordan or Wayne Gretzky or Joe Montana. I mean, he was on the cover of Time magazine. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I mean, this was a sport that was very regional, that was very transient, that was something that you just it was something that was just waiting to explode, and he was the catalyst to do it. And you think about how many WrestleManias he headlined. You think about him, pressing Andre the Giant. You think about all that was my era of it. That's when I watched the most wrestling, was at that time. I don't know what they call that era now. I'm not sure, but I know that there's an era name for it. And then the other part for him was probably the most popular the sport had ever been in terms of people watching it on television on a weekly basis. He had maybe the greatest, well, not maybe, he had the greatest heel turn in the history of the sport when he went NWO. And so that was when I was in college and kind of got into it a little bit again at that point. And those are the Monday Night Wars and all of that stuff. And he was at the center of it. So obviously there's been some missteps since the career ended and over the last several years. But just in terms of the phenomenon that he was and the importance that he was in the time, there was very little differentiating him from the other luminaries that I mentioned of that time. I mean, he was on a same page of the late 80s, early... I mean, you think about Michael Jackson and Eddie Murphy and the most popular people in the world, he was on that list. I mean, just a massive, massive presence in the sport. And certainly in the world, really, in the United States culture.
So much of entertainment today is based off of things he pioneered.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you have The Rock or John Cena or Batista, or I'm trying to think of the other wrestlers who've made the transition from wrestling into Hollywood because they become such big pop culture figures.
Yeah.
I mean, it really pushed wrestling into the national perspective when he was the champion for Vince McMahon in the 80s. And then in the 90s, when he made the switch to WCW, like they talk about wrestling villains now based off of a lot what Hulk Hogan and the NWO did. They were cool bad guys.
Yes,
and that wasn't something right. That wasn't something that had ever been done in wrestling. It was mostly Iron Sheik, Iraqi sympathizer, Sergeant Slaughter. Like those were detestable bad guys, but the NWO became cool bad guys, and it was really kind of that time when wrestling merchandise skyrocketed in value because everybody had either an NWO or a DX shirt growing up, and even still to this day, you'll see NWO shirts everywhere in popular culture. I think there's even a photo somewhere with Kylie Jenner in an NWO Wolfpack T-shirt. Yeah. I doubt she knows anybody in the NWO other than the Hulkster. And I think the Hulkster was in the NWO Wolfpack, but I can't remember like the connection he made. It became much too in the weeds wrestling-wise when it was like two different NWO factions.
Yeah.
But what like Hulk Hogan's resume is something that everybody in that industry and really even in entertainment strives for still to this day.
We talked about it yesterday. Maybe the two biggest moments in a billion-dollar industry were from Hulk Hogan. Was WrestleMania 3 in the Silverdome when he slammed Andre the Giant and supposedly beat Andre the Giant's undefeated streak. Yeah. And then the heel turn, the NWO. And it was weird seeing videos and pictures of that yesterday, of that night in 1996, and realizing that two of those guys are gone now.
Right.
And then, you know, if you take it further, Macho Man was on the other side of that. Three of those guys are gone now.
It's so sad,
and it's just pretty crazy. But that music that we just played, when that thing popped in an arena in the mid to late 80s, I mean, places went nuts because their hero was coming. They were saying their prayers and eating their vitamins, and they were just taking it all in. And that's why when that heel turn happened, it was so shocking, and people were just littering the ring with beer bottles and cans and trash because they felt betrayed. You know, that was the beginning of the internet era. Now, you know, you get all this stuff beforehand and know things are coming if you're really into professional wrestling. But nobody knew back then. They lived the gimmick. If you saw them in the airport, they lived the gimmick. And
I remember saying that his dad and those guys, like when they would fly on planes, they would be in like full makeup.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That was the other part of it. Then they were not in the business of acknowledging that it wasn't all real. And I always hesitate when people say, "Oh, it's not real." Okay, the fall is real. The fall is real. When you jump off of there and land on a human, that's real. When somebody throws you from above their head, that part's real. You see the injuries these guys go through, the pain meds that all of them get hooked on. Like it's a vicious, vicious business.
I even think Hogan's been on record saying that he lost like 4 inches from his total body for the 30 years of dropping the big leg. Like it just compacted his spinal cord so much where he was at once billed 6'6", 6'7", and I think he finished like 6'3", 6'4". I think Steve Austin's said stuff, you know, to similar points. But also I wonder yesterday thinking like how many people were introduced to Hulk Hogan through Hogan Knows Best? Because that had a run at one point.
It did, yeah.
I think most people knew him already, though.
I think so, too.
At least knew of him.
I mean, I think probably the thing that sets the sport on fire is when he shows up in the opening scenes of Rocky III as Thunderlips. That's when you're like, and he's so much bigger than Hogan. I mean, Hogan looks like a little kid, or than Stallone. Stallone looked like a little kid in that scene.
Looks like a giant.
Yeah. And so that was the one where it was like, you know, that happened, and then, you know, Andre was in A Princess Bride shortly thereafter. So, but like Hogan was the center of it. Yeah, you're right. He did Hogan Knows Best. He was in cartoons. There was a Saturday morning cartoon with the professional wrestlers, and there was also a movie that he did, No Holds Barred, maybe.
Yeah,
I think is what it's called.
And that guy his co-star in that ended up in wrestling for a while.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Wasn't
Zeus?
it Debo?
Zeus.
Yeah,
it was Debo. Yeah, Debo from Friday. Yeah, he did, and he still operated that surf shop in Clearwater and all of those things. So, man, just a massive presence. And yeah, so you think about so many. We sadly have lost so many of those legends way too early. But as you were doing the theme song music, I was thinking to myself, like, how I haven't heard that song in a long time until yesterday when you started to hear it a lot. But you think about that. You think about Oh, What a Rush from Road Warriors, Legion of Doom. You think about Flair, like when you would hear that. Like those songs even now hit in a way, when you hear it, it immediately takes you back.
He did it later in his career, coming out to Jimi Hendrix's Voodoo Child.
Yeah.
But when he was WCW heavyweight champion, and this was still very much NWO at its peak, he'd come out to that song playing the title belt like a guitar. And I thought as a kid, that's the coolest damn thing ever. So anytime I hear a Jimi Hendrix song, I think of Hogan and the New World Order coming out.
Were you guys Hulk guys as kids? I was not. I did. There were kids, when we would all act like professional wrestlers, he was not my guy.
So when I was young, Bo, in third grade, I remember, and I was a Hogan guy at the time, I remember going home from school and calling my buddy Brett Johnson, who was unfortunately passed too, and we would argue Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior. Yeah. Who was better? Because, you're third graders, you don't know any different. The coolest thing I saw on social media yesterday, though, was someone did a Hulk Hogan highlight package to Ozzy's Mama, I'm Coming Home. And it was just like, oh, man, what a week.
That was all of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a massive presence. Just, the Babe Ruth. Before I went, I did want to make sure Threes would co-sign that. If he would have a certain gravity to the conversation. I just want to make sure that my Babe Ruth of the sport take was on par, and he did, in fact, confirm that it was. So, it's just a massive presence is what he did over the course of his life. All right, lots to get to, including an executive order from the highest office. Is college sports fixed? No. That's the long and short of it. We'll get to that, among other things, coming up next. We're off and running on a Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life. And fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. See your Kroger Pharmacy for details.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, NewmanRoofing.com.
The sun is out and the savings are on at Coughlin Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Take up to $7,000 off MSRP on any new Kia EV in stock, or get up to $3,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing for 60 months. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
Largest Kia dealer based on current ground stock at all 4 Coughlin Kia locations. 0% for 60 months equals $1,667 for 1,000 finance. All manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. Dealer financing required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. And 7/31/25.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And for a limited time, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.49%, APR 6.52% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restricted supply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Austin and Berm are back with a new daily podcast, the ultimate OSU Football Insiders. You know it's refreshing to have some smart people working here from time to time.
The Beat with Austin and Berm on the 10 TV Plus app.
Subscribe today.
Friday, July 25th is Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. Visit the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Department of Insurance, and other state agency booths. Come learn about mental health resources available to you and to your family. Join us on Friday, July 25th for Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
It's the height of the summer, and that means summer slide is a risk. We know students can lose some of what they've learned when they're out of school. You can help fight summer slide by playing fun educational games with your kids. Dice and card games especially help keep math skills sharp to set up your student for success in the fall.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see chances of showers and thunderstorms, some which could have heavy downpours and gusty winds. Otherwise, skies will be partly to mostly cloudy with our temperatures in the low 90s. The mugginess continues into tonight with overnight lows in the 70s and chances of showers and storms continuing, and then rinse and repeat on Saturday, highs in the low 90s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
A little bit of breaking news out of Cleveland. Jordan Hicks, linebacker. Pretty sure he played at Lakota West, I think. I can't remember. Or was he a Wayne guy? I can't remember. I remember he was a massive 5-star recruit out of the state. He ended up going to Texas and has had a really nice NFL career, and was going to start for the Browns in the middle. Announced his retirement this morning. So he is retiring from the NFL. So he missed the first 2 practices of camp, but there was hardly any reason to believe it would be anything more than that. But no, he is down. So he was a guy who's going to retire. So now this offseason, the Browns have lost Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah for at least this year with a neck injury, and then we'll see what his future is. And now Jordan Hicks retires. So those are the top 2 starters last year from them at linebacker are out. Now they drafted Carson Schlesinger, the rookie out of UCLA, at the top of the 2nd round. And I know that they expected him to start. But beyond that, it's going to be former Michigan man Devin Bush, Mohamed Diabate. It's going to be some young guys behind it. And so that's a massive news. I don't have any reason to believe that was something anybody thought was coming for Jordan Hicks to announce his retirement this morning.
No, that's certainly the surprise of the day. I am interested now with that question. Another question at linebacker. You have a question at running back with the Browns and Quinshon Judkins. If they use one of those quarterbacks, because what we saw with Justin Fields yesterday, your plans can change in an instant. Yeah. And Fields is out on the practice field for the Jets today. It was a dislocated toe, but he's just going to be doing individual drills. It's day to day. I mean, I guess aren't we all? But if you have 4 quarterbacks for the Browns and you feel like there's a team out there that's, in need of some depth, you trade them. Maybe you get a running back, maybe you get a linebacker, or you kind of wait to the very first cut down day and see where you are in that order of, we got to get on somebody quick. Makes it,
yeah. I mean, those are 2 things that nobody saw coming.
No.
I mean, the Quinshon Judkins thing, nobody saw coming. And then the Hicks thing, I don't think anybody had any inclination that was happening either. So that's 2 starters that you expected. We're 2 days into camp, and 2 starters. We've known about the Judkins thing for a little bit, but he was presumed starter, and now that's out, and now Hicks is out too. So that's tough.
As a Browns fan, it's like the hits just keep on coming. Like, give us something good here as a Browns fan. Can I get something good to hang my hat on, please?
I know it. I saw yesterday that Flacco took most of the 11, or he got the first reps in 11 on 11. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, you do wonder, like, if all of these other pieces will change the way that they handle the quarterback thing.
I think it has to.
You feel like it would, yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. You probably knew that this was coming. You kind of got a hint that it was, but yesterday, President Trump issued an executive order on college athletics. Now, President Trump signed an executive order related to college athletics titled Saving College Sports, that he's directing members of his cabinet to create policy around several aspects of the industry to protect the NCAA and conferences from enforcing and creating rules to govern it, protecting scholarships for non-revenue sports. The executive order most notably requires schools to maintain or even increase the number of scholarships they provide to non-revenue sports. This is the big part that, quite honestly, won't stand up in any court and will make this probably much ado about nothing. So this is prohibiting the pay for play from the third parties. You might call this the prohibition of booster collective pay to athletes, which is a way it codifies the House settlement terms that prohibit collective pay to athletes if they are not deemed to be for legitimate endorsement of commercial opportunities. I don't know how you're ever going to prove that. That's why it's going to it can keep going on doing this. I just don't see any scenario here where this does a dang thing. I just don't. And the problem here, there's so many problems with this, but it starts with the fact that the players have to have the exact same rights as the coaches and the athletic directors and everybody else. They have to have the exact same abilities to earn and make income as anybody else. And anytime you start saying, well, you're going to have to validate this as a legitimate endorsement versus just a pay for play, you're going to be in litigation all day long with that. There's no way that you're ever going to be able to prove it. Who's going to police it? I mean, it's all the things we talked about, forever. But then the other part of it is so many of these states have their own laws that they're already written. So everybody wants to have some control in all of this stuff. But I think everything that falls short of calling them professional athletes and collectively bargaining it, everything that falls short of that is a half measure, in my view.
I mean, the biggest thing for me with this legislation, with similar legislation that's running through one of the chambers of government, is that it's trying to treat college football like college swimming or college rowing or collegiate basketball. Like, these aren't the same things. They shouldn't be treated as such, because good luck with every quarterback in the Power Five. And I know that there's been reporting that every deal that Ohio State submitted to that clearinghouse has been approved, but all it takes is one. And then here come the lawyers. And with this executive order, it's kind of just assigning things for other people to do. And so you're not kicking the can down the road necessarily. You're just passing the buck. So unless you want to get serious about making these things the different pieces of college athletics that they are, all of this stuff's just going to get blocked in court. Like, there's more lawyer fees is what this tells me.
There's going to be a lot of lawyer fees.
Because who are you, federal government, to tell me what I can pay somebody? If I think they're worth this, what do you mean I can't pay them this? And what is it your business of why I can give them this money? What's capitalism then?
Right. Right.
I love more government in sports. I mean, it is. Let's
it's a big, fat, bloated government. Let's do more.
All the government we can in sports while I'm blowing my tires on potholes still. Like, come on. This is, just, I'm at the point with all of this where just let it sink or swim, and who cares?
It's not going to sink.
Let's just take all the training wheels off, all of it. Let's just go. No rules. Wild, Wild West. Survival of the fittest here.
That's what it's been. And
college football is too big to fail.
Yes.
Everything else, well.
Yeah. No, and they're going to try to muck it up. I just think, like, the juxtaposition of the commissioner of this conference trying to create revenue that otherwise doesn't exist in the sport that he governs, the sport that is most important to him and his conference, trying to create another high-leverage situation. Well, why is he trying to do it? Because he needs to appease. Did you guys read Stuart Mandel's piece, by the way, in The Athletic about Petiti? Touched on a lot of the things we touched on earlier this week. But this notion that Petiti is trying to he's trying to create new revenue streams for his television partners, and he's willing to die on the hill of, we're going to play play-in games on Championship Saturday. Nobody else wants it. Nobody in the sport wants it. But he's trying to do it and try to create this notion of Do you ever think the Big Ten commissioner would say our 8-4 is better than your 9-3? That's what he said.
When
you go
it's
6-3 in the Big Ten. If you lose a non-conference, you shouldn't be eliminated. He's trying to NFL the sport in every way except for collectively bargaining it.
He's a television executive.
He is. Yeah.
This is far away from the days of having college athletic administrators run conferences. Now we're TV guy.
He is. Yeah.
As mad as we can get at Tony Petitti for this, at least we know after this week, if we didn't before, at least we know where his priorities lie. And his priorities are lying in the bed of making as much damn money as he can for the Big Ten Conference. And damn everything else.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. That's it. And, some people would say, well, that's the job. That's the job. That's his job. The presidents of this conference would say that's probably his job. But you can't do that out of one side of your mouth and out of the other side of your mouth say, oh, yeah, let's limit what somebody can make off the field. You can't have both, and they've tried to have both for far, far, far too long. And it just, and as much as it all gets discussed, the reality is that this sport's never been more popular. It's never been more popular. And nobody really cares. When it comes time to that first Saturday to watch Ohio State, Texas, it's going to do 14 million at noon. I mean, that's what's coming. So this is where we are in the sport, and the rest of this stuff, quite honestly, is a little bit of a waste of time. Doug Lesmeries had a front row seat for Tony Petitti. He was in Vegas all week. He may still be, actually, which would be a hell of a thing if he's joining us in 2 minutes. That's an early wake-up call for the King of the North. But he will join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text CASH to 231231. CASH to 231231. CASH to 231231.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teens require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota of Columbus. Summer is the perfect time to gear up in a new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus. Right now, drive home the 2025 Toyota Tundra with 1.99 APR for 72 months, or take command of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, also just 1.99 APR for 72 months. Get power, performance, and unbeatable savings, all at Germain Toyota, located at 5711 Scarborough Boulevard on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road. Shop online anytime at germaintoyota.net.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a Friday edition of the program, The King of the North. One of the Kings of the North, Bill as well, the great Doug Lesmeries joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. You had a front row seat this week at Big Ten Media Days out in Las Vegas. How'd it go?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little weird to be in Vegas, right? Like James Franklin kind of said that. We were down by the Shark Reef at Mandalay Bay. Most of us noticed that we did not go outside and consume fresh air or human sunshine for 3 days because you're just in this vast Vegas casino. But but it was okay. I mean, we've gotten used to it that, the Big Ten's done it at Lucas Oil on the field in recent years. And last year I went to Big 12 Media Days in Vegas, and they did it on the field at Allegiant Stadium. And so this wasn't on a football field. But it was okay. But like Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, got up there and said they went to Vegas because, like, Indianapolis was booked. He wasn't like, we want to embrace the West Coast. So it feels like they'll be back in the Midwest next year.
Okay, that's been kind of my big theme. We finally you saw Tony Petitti. He exists.
Yeah.
And he took questions like, what a time to be alive. Like, we finally hear from him. All right, I'll save what I've talked this week about what I thought about what he had to say. What did you think about what he had to say?
So, I think he was 3 minutes and 30 seconds into his opening speech when he said, now let's focus on football. And I wanted to, jump up and start clapping and scream it only took 3.5 minutes to focus on football at Football Media Days. So he said the Big Ten is deeper and stronger than it's ever been, which I think, A, is actually true, and B, is, the closest to just something that he'll ever get. And so I thought it was at least he did something. And then I think what continued during the week, Bo, is that, I think it frustrated some people, but every Big Ten football coach fell in line with the automatic qualifier talk for the playoffs. Like lockstep, like robots. Mm-hmm. And you could snicker at that, or you could say, well, look at that. The Big Ten has alignment. Don't we love the word alignment in college sports? And if that's making the SEC mad or other people in college football mad because the whole league is in something together, good. Good for the Big Ten to be united on something and making a point. Even if you disagree with it and you hate automatic qualifiers, if you're a Big Ten fan, I think you should be enthused by the Big Ten putting up a united front.
It seemed disingenuous to me.
Even if it's disingenuous, Bo, it's united disingenuousness. Because is not the SEC always united?
Sure.
A lot of times, we're getting our message out. Even if you hate the message, and even if you don't love the delivery, it was 19 people, 8 coaches and a commish, one message. So, that was something, I thought. But you didn't do you not like the content or the way it was presented?
I think that the real truth is that his television partners need some more inventory, and they want to get into postseason football, and so he's come up with this idea to have play-in games on conference championship Saturdays. And I guess my theory is if you asked Ryan Day or Dan Lanning or James Franklin or Sharon Moore or anybody at the top of the sport and said, hey, do you want to play another high-leveraged game a week before going into the playoff and a week after your rivalry, they'd all say no. And I wish we would just say that that's what this is really about. I know that you can't, and honestly, Doug, listening to him talk, it doesn't feel like he's the commissioner. To me, it doesn't feel like he's the commissioner for those schools at all. To me, it seems like he's the commissioner for the 4th place team in the Big Ten in a play-in game against the 5. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, I guess I maybe don't disagree with that. But I think you could, for the moment, view it as the teams at the top will be okay. Mm-hmm. And that can be frustrating for Ohio State fans to hear, because you and I have also had a million conversations over the years of why does this league at times feel like it leans on Ohio State to the point of taking advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
That can be very frustrating. But I do think that the middle of the Big Ten this year is a really fat, healthy middle. I think they might go 10 or 11 deep with real teams that really could at least have a shot to be on the edge of the playoff discussion. And I think it's so good for those fan bases. Some people get mad. Why should a 6th place Iowa team even sniff the playoff? It's so good for Iowa fans and Nebraska fans and Minnesota fans who just would never have a shot otherwise. And I do think you can craft it. We don't have to get bogged down by the details, but if you create a scenario where, in the Big Ten, 1 and 2 would no longer play on championship weekend, there's no championship game, and it's only 3, 6, and 4, 5. Now you're creating a bye scenario because 1 and 2 are already in, and now 3's playing 6 and 4's playing 5 to get in. And if you're in a 16-team playoff where you're taking out byes, now you're bringing byes back in a way. And now we're in a 40-team playoff practically. I get it. I think it's less about the details and more about the point of standing up with a united front against the SEC. And that, I think, is so valuable and important and lacking sometimes from the Big Ten that I'm not as bogged down in the particulars.
Well, I liked what he said about, look, anything that gets us I'm paraphrasing, but anything that puts more on that committee, the Big Ten is not for. But here's the thing I don't understand. The Big Ten this week to me felt like the Big Ten was acting like the Big 12. Like, Doug, Indiana got in. They got in.
They did.
And they're going to get in. You're going to get 4 in every year. There's never a scenario. I mean, we could go back and look at 40 years of data, but my hunch is there's always 4 Big Ten teams in the final top 16 in the poll.
And there are. And there are.
So what are we worried about?
We're worried because the Big Ten champ got left out of the 14 playoffs sometimes, and the SEC champ never did. We're worried because of what happened with Ohio State in 17 and 18.
This was a different era, though, don't you think? I just don't think we're going back to that.
I think there are enough remnants of when it's head-to-head and it's equal. We were talking, what if there are a bunch of 9-3 SEC and Big Ten teams this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think there could be. And some of them are going to get in. Who gets the edge? I think it is reasonable for the Big Ten to still be on alert about the SEC getting the benefit of the doubt head-to-head with the Big Ten when you get to teams 3, 4, 5, 6 in the playoff. And so I think it is worth them having that in their head and that being part of their fight. Now, I don't think they're going to get what they're talking about. I don't think we're going to get the Big Ten's version of the world. But I almost think they're being this extreme so they're okay when they get to the middle, which probably involves making the SEC go to 9 conference games, right? So I think they're staking out a position at the edge so they have somewhere to compromise. But when you stake out that position, you better do it together or you're not going to have any power. And it is the constant push and pull, Bo, of are they on the same level as the SEC or are they the leader of the next tier? And they're both. And so I think you did feel that this week that they're like fighting like an underdog against the SEC, and you didn't like the underdog vibe a little bit.
Not at all.
But I think, and there's a lot of things, but I think they sometimes have to fight like an underdog to assure that they're treated as an equal. And I think it is still an ongoing process. On the field, the Big Ten is there. In the perception battle, I don't think they are, and I think they know that. And now, did this week hurt or help? At least they're united. At least they're united, and they've staked a claim. And that's 2 positive things, even if it's not perfect.
Yeah, I guess I continue to do the show here, right? And so, I just don't think it's ever anything Ohio State has to worry about. I mean, you go back to 14, you could have argued both TCU and Baylor deserved to be in over Correct. Ohio State in that 14 playoff, but they didn't. Why? Because the Buckeye brand's pretty good. And they put 60 on Wisconsin. So, I just think the top of this. I sat
in that room. I sat in the team room in Columbus twice covering the Buckeyes on Selection Sunday thinking they were in, and they didn't get in.
17 and 18, were those the two?
17 and 18, twice. And Bama got in as a weak SEC champ a couple years ago in 22 when they probably shouldn't have gotten in and over Florida State, but they got in.
Do you think do you think that's a benefit of the run that they had? But I think that run's over. I think it's over.
We have to make sure that from a perception standpoint, everybody realizes that. I hope they realize it. Now, Saban at 9-3 probably gets in last year. So I think your point is, it's being realized to some extent. I think this is a big year, and I think part of it is, I think both the Big 12 and I think everybody wants to see a little bit how this shakes out this year. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be an interesting race and crowded, thick with contenders. And how does the committee react? And I think everybody's mad at the committee for different reasons, when actually the committee, for the most part, does a pretty good job. But I think in the end, less committee, more earn it on the field is good. So it is odd then, and people talk about that a lot, earn it on the field. Yeah. And the automatic qualifiers, that's earning it on the field, but yet no one likes it except the Big Ten. So
I don't even think the Big Ten coaches like it. I don't think the coaches like it either. I don't think they want it.
The thing that worries me about this week, we got to a point where it feels like the non-conference schedule conversation is either we'll play good non-conference games if they don't matter because of qualifiers, or we won't play them at all in an at-large berth. And I'm like, how did we get there? How did we get to big non-conference games are either preseason games or they don't exist? There has to be a third way to do that. So it is a clunky conversation. I get it. But I can't believe that they said they're good at football and they're together. And it's baby steps for this league still, Bo. On the field, there. Yeah. Off the field, the hype machine, the perception battle, still baby steps.
Yeah, they're not there because the Big Ten commissioner spoke and it wasn't on the front page of anything, and none of the major, even their own television partners, Doug, didn't even tweet about it. Fox, CBS, NBC, nothing. He talked in a closet. It was crazy.
Kings of the North did a full 45 minutes on it that night, but I get
it. That's
it. I know a little bit his personality. He didn't then he wasn't going through Radio Row and reinforcing the message. Like, he kind of got up and then left, and it's baby steps. Sankey's tough, man. Sankey's tough to deal with, and your Mark needles people, and that's the thing. Like, Sankey takes a shot at everybody. Sankey took a shot and sent, I'm sure you talked about it, sent the little thing about we're the other conference on social media because James Franklin called them the other conference.
Yeah.
He took shots at everybody, even like in a funny way in his speech. Petiti didn't take any shots. You could have said, Petiti should have gotten up there and said something about the SEC claiming it's a super conference.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we're a super conference, but I'm not sure anybody can be a super conference to win the national title the last 2 years.
Yes, more of that.
Take a shot. If you're making the toast, you got to have a joke. You can't just up there and say the bride and groom are lovely. You got to have a joke, Bo. You got to know how to work a room. And so he made a point. He did.
Yeah.
But Bo, teach the man how to work a room. You're a great toastmaster. I'm sure of it. You got to work the room.
All right. They need to put you and I on the payroll. We'll get this sorted out in a weekend.
My God.
Get this
you
thing sorted out.
should do Bo Bishop's fake version of the Tony Petitti speech. If Bo was the commissioner, drop it. A 20-minute segment on 97.1.
How
people
I'll
will
handle
eat
it
up. Bo for commissioner.
Can't wait. Good talking to you, buddy.
I'll be there with you, brother.
All right.
Thanks, man.
There he goes. Doug Lesmeries, Kings of the North. He does that, of course, with the great Bill Landis on the Brighting Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Dan Lanning might be my guy. I'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with the new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
Stepping into the Kia K4 or K5 isn't just getting behind the wheel of any average sedan. It's stepping into what's next. With a K4, it's a world that's exciting. With a K5, it's one that's bold. The Kia K4 and K5, the next movement for sedans. See your local Kia dealer or visit kia.com to learn more.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Lease a new 2025 K4 LXS for $219 a month for 24 months with $34.99 due at signing for well-qualified lessees.
Call 800-334-KIA for details. Always drive safely. New 2025 K4 LXS 2.0-liter FWD IVP 24,165 MSRP. MSRP includes destination handling and excludes taxes, title, registration, license fees, options, and retailer charges. No security deposit required. Actual prices set by dealer and may vary. Purchase option at lease end is $17,157.15. Subject to credit approval by Kia Finance. Lessee is responsible for insurance, maintenance, repairs 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles a year. Excess wear and a termination fee of up to $400. Subject to dealer participation. Offers may not be combined except where specified. Must take delivery by 8/4/25. Limited inventory available.
Nationwide Picnic with the Pops presents the Pride of the Buckeyes, the Ohio State University Marching Band. Don your scarlet and gray and join the Columbus Symphony Orchestra for a night of fight songs, battle cries, fireworks, and more. July 25th and 26th at the Columbus Commons. Visit picnicwiththepops.com.
Irish adventure awaits at the Dublin Irish Festival August 1st through 3rd in Dublin, Ohio. Voted 2025 USA Today Best Cultural Festival in the nation. This year promises 3 incredible days of Irish music, dance, food, and fun. Enjoy unique Irish experiences as you explore one of the top festivals in the U.S., drawing over 90,000 guests to Dublin, Ohio each year. Get your tickets at dublinirishfestival.org.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team, we can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes, teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or 2 half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
This is, get to Dan Lanning in a second. This is pretty good. I want to say... Caleb Ramirez on social making me wear this. I don't know how I missed this. Sports Business Journal reported it about 19 hours ago. Look, it's a long way off. Or maybe it's not, but Sports Business Journal reporting that North Carolina is among the schools exploring a potential move from the ACC, with the SEC as a likely target. The chancellor there and incoming AD, the Tar Heels could be leading the pack alongside Clemson. In the story, the ACC is decreasing its exit fees from $93 million to a flat $75 with the 2030-31 school year. That figure would become an important final line of demarcation. Look, everybody wants Carolina. I mean, I think other than Notre Dame, the Big Ten would want Carolina more than anybody in the country. Would be Carolina is who they would want. The SEC wants Carolina in a big way, and they would love to. Everybody would love to have them. They are next to Notre Dame. Of the ones that already isn't in a massive conference, they're the one. More than Florida State, Miami, Clemson, all of it. There is an infatuation with the Tar Heels and a little bit of a sleeping giant that most people feel about them, and they're the ones. They align pretty well with what the Big Ten is trying to do with its conference, but they also align with the SEC. So I get it. I understand their preference to be in the SEC because of the regionality of it. It actually makes geographical sense for them to be in the SEC. I've said this from the beginning, and I'll continue to say it. I don't see the SEC taking Clemson and Florida State unless something changes philosophically. The schools that are in that league do not want them. Clemson does not. South Carolina does not want Clemson in the SEC. Florida does not want Florida State in the SEC. If there had to be like a more recent football-ish power that the SEC would want other than Carolina, like if they had to take two, my hunch is it would be Miami, because then they would get a part of the country that they're not really in. That would be the one, I think. I just don't see them taking Clemson or Florida State. I don't. So this Carolina thing, that's a massive domino, though. And that could lead to Notre Dame, too. Because if the ACC falls apart, who's Notre Dame playing?
I do remember when Texas was joining the SEC, A&M made a stink about being the only Texas school in the Southeastern Conference. So there is precedent for schools to be like, no, we don't want them in, but the SEC and its greater membership body saying, oh, but they're going to be in, and they made it so.
The difference there, though, is the real power in that league is Georgia, Bama, LSU, Florida, and they looked at A&M and say, actually, the guys you hate are prettier than you are. So we're going to take them whether you like it or not. And in the South Carolina, Florida State conversation, the powers that would not want them in. I think that's the way it's always been.
And I wonder if it would take a Florida State resurgence maybe to change their mind on that. But I think you're right in terms of Texas being above most of the schools in the SEC outside of Alabama and Georgia. The interesting thing with North Carolina, so that deal with ESPN's up, I think, 2030. So you've got five.
The ESPN ABC is 2036.
Right, but I think there's something...
The way out, you mean?
The way out, or at least the cheapest way out of the ACC right now would be in 2030 for that school.
Yes,
so in 5 years...
It goes to $75 million,
I have to wonder, what college football is going to look like, because you would expect something different. You would expect some maybe some more expansion. I would love it if there was relegation.
Needs to be.
But that's I think, a discussion for maybe a decade from now. But yeah, this college football landscape is going to look very different 5 years from now.
So I think we all know that I'm pretty much a traditionalist. I kind of like things the way we've had.
Sorry, man.
I'm pretty, I hate that we don't have Bedlam anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If we ruin the Duke-Carolina rivalry, because I feel like in college sports, it's Ohio State, Michigan, and Duke-Carolina. Those are the
I think that's fair.
Two rivalries. If we screw up Duke-Carolina basketball, shame on all of us.
I wonder if the SEC would take Duke.
Duke doesn't seem like an SEC school, does it?
No, but neither does Vandy. And it works there. Would they take Duke for the basketball and another, team for them to all beat up on in the SEC?
I mean, Duke kind of feels like could be some Southern money. I mean, the Ratliffs were from there.
The dad was.
So you had,
If we screw that up, I'm going to have a big problem.
Well,
because that means we're next. That means Ohio State, Michigan's next.
We were already screwed that up. We could play that game 3 times now.
You're right, but
we've already screwed it up. The next thing they'll do is move it to October. I mean, it's all gone. If you wake up 5 years from now and the landscape of this is that the Big Ten has basically recreated the old Rose Bowl game with an East and West faction, and Notre Dame is in the Big Ten, that to me feels very much in play. That would be the case, and that the SEC would basically be truly the Southern Conference, and they would have all of those teams, and you're going to get to that, whether you like it or not, you're going to get to that super conference thing. Now the question is ESPN, who's television partners with the ACC and the SEC, are they going to allow that to happen to the ACC? Because the people who are running the sport are the television executives. Do the folks at Disney want the ACC to crumble? Or will they step in and say, hey, the ACC and the SEC are one thing, all under this SEC umbrella? Who knows? But, yeah, that's noteworthy to say the least. All right, coming up next, second hour of the program, Tim May will join at 10:30. What we learned this week, including paying off on the tease from the previous segment, that Dan Lanning is my guy. We'll explain all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country is on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Choose from payments as low as $99 a month or 12 months with no payments and no interest, plus a free in-home window and energy assessment. Restrictions apply. Give them a call. 614-502-5220.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Football in July, outstanding, and it's kicking off at the Pro Football Hall of Fame July 31st in Football Heaven in Canton, Ohio. And you can still grab tickets for the Hall of Fame game between the Lions and the Chargers. And then on August 2nd, 4 of the greatest of all time get immortalized in bronze at the Class of 25 enshrinement. And cap off the weekend Sunday with a concert for legends featuring Nickelback with special guest Mitchell Tenpenny. It's a gold jacket weekend. Visit ProFootballHof.com to learn more and get your tickets.
2 years ago, Bobby Carpenter completed treatments for knee pain at QC Kinetics. So we're checking in with the former college and pro football player to see how he's doing.
I've been asked a lot, like, how long does this last? How long does it work? I go, I've had mine for a couple years, and everything feels very good. It feels just as good as it did when I started to turn the corner.
Bobby's an active husband, dad, and business owner. That's why 2 years ago, he heard about QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments, and he knew he could trust them for his chronic knee pain.
And thankfully, with QC Kinetics, I was able to go through this, and my activities are the same as it was. I'm able to coach my kids in sports. I can play golf. I can go run.
QC Kinetics patients like Bobby don't miss a beat. No surgery or rehab. Just freedom from debilitating joint pain. Ready for lasting relief from joint pain? Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. My guys at Jermaine are celebrating their biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. Tons of vehicles on the lot for you to choose from, and they're ready to deal. It's also the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event with rates as low as 2.99%. I was riding in my Lexus on one of our hot summer days, and I felt the crisp breeze of cold air on my cracky. Don't you want that for yourself? Of course you do. Jermaine Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My toilet's clogged, backed up too. The sink is running slow. Water's backed up everywhere. Oh, please don't overflow.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Common Man and Timmy here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Timmy?
Yeah, we got a lot of fun things going on this month, like karaoke.
And crab legs.
No, not yet. Live bands. We've got food trucks in the outdoor valet area.
Crab legs.
Oh, not yet. On select weekend days throughout the summer. Okay, now crab legs.
And all you can eat crab legs at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Join Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on us. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, crab legs.
Oh, yeah, we love crab legs.
Time for crab legs?
Okay, crab legs.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reese, sir. After 10 seasons in the NFL, Browns linebacker Jordan Hicks announced his retirement earlier today. The 33-year-old Hicks started 12 games for Cleveland this past season. His first with the team. Hicks dealt with elbow and concussion issues throughout the year. Browns head into 2025 without two starting linebackers. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah will also miss the season, dealing with a serious neck issue. Cleveland's 3 days into training camp. They'll open the preseason in 2 weeks at Carolina. In baseball, the Guardians fell to the Orioles 4-3 Thursday. Cleveland's back to 500 at 51-51. They'll play the Royals in Kansas City tonight at 8:10. The Reds had Thursday off. Cincinnati's back home tonight versus the Rays. First pitch there is 7:10. You can hear that game on The Fan following the Buckeye Show. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Rates as low as 5.54% and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance your auto loan at BMI Federal Credit Union.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Friday edition. Tim May going to join us here in about 29 minutes from now. It's an hour earlier than normal, but nevertheless, here's what we learned.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
Look, I mean, this was Big Ten Media Day week, and I think we're going to play some Lanning sound in a second. Will lead us to big Lanning and Franklin week for me. Both of those guys I'm with both those guys in the way they handled their business this week. So I'm pro both of those guys this week, at least for now. But I think what we learned, and Stuart Mandel, I really encourage you to read it. He did it. He kind of did everything we've been talking about this week in terms of the Big Ten stance. And I think I know this is what we learned, but I think the real truth of it is that the television partners of the Big Ten are desperate for more content, and they're desperate for more television shows. And so this league, under the direction of Tony Petitti, a former television executive, is going to do what it can to create more television shows for them. And his way of doing it, or his idea for doing it, is a play-in weekend on Championship Saturday that would be played throughout the day, that would be on Fox and CBS and NBC, and that would please them because they'd have games that actually mean something. The other thing that he was trying to do is set the narrative that there are November games that matter. Well, who does that benefit? His television partner, right? And perhaps that's the way that it would benefit Ohio State, because then maybe we wouldn't have to play every high-leveraged game at noon at home for the rest of our lives. Maybe that would help, but that's a long way out. And it's a lot of 4D chess that you're trying to play, and I'm not sure what the return on it is, and I'm not sure that your coaches actually believe what they're saying. That's the thing I came away with mostly from it, was these one coach after another going out and saying 8 conference games versus 9. I mean, that was marching orders, one after another. And Doug was right. We had him on, and he defended it. They were aligned. They all had the same message. But it's a lot like that conversation we have about the idea that the NCAA was trying to govern Ohio State the way that it was governing Ohio Wesleyan. I think the same thing can be true here. What is good for Ohio State is probably not good for Indiana and Illinois and Wisconsin, but should Ohio State care? Should Penn State care? Should Oregon care? Michigan care? USC care? Should Nebraska? Do they care? This notion that somehow like a 10-2 Big Ten team would be left out of a 16-team playoff. I just don't ever. A 9-3 Big Ten team is not going to be left out of a 16-team playoff. You got the benefit of the doubt a year ago. My hunch is you had 4 teams in out of 12 a year ago. My hunch is that'll continue. There's no end in the sight of that. So I don't know why they had to do what they did, other than the fact of their television partners need more inventory, and it's his way of being able to do it is to create this one more high leverage game after your rivalry game and before the playoff starts.
It's interesting. We'll have Tim May on at 10:30, and I don't think I've ever seen him hate something more than calling football games inventory. Like he made it a point several times in our discussion, because he was with me last week. Yeah. Okay. And just several times on air and off the air. He talked about how much he hated that damn phrase when it matters to actual football being played on the field.
Yeah.
But Tony Petitti is beholden to university presidents and their athletic directors of the 18-member Big Ten. They hired him. They hired him for the specific reasons you mentioned.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, knowledge is power, right? We know where Tony Petitti and the Big Ten's interests lie right now. They want to make as much money as possible. They feel the best thing for the conference is making as much money as possible. And I'm okay with that because here's the thing. Ohio State's going to be fine regardless.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're doing what benefits Indiana or Purdue or Rutgers or Northwestern, because Ohio State is a big dog and Ohio State is going to be fine no matter what the Big Ten does or no matter what the model is. We all complain about the noon games. Ohio State's going to be fine. People are still going to watch it. People are still going to show up. The thing here is, hey, TV partners, we're doing this for you. Help us out. Give us some coverage. Like you said, Bo, nothing on the front page of Fox Sports News. No tweets about it. CBS Sports, nothing. We mentioned they had Lenora Sellers on the front page of theirs the day after Ohio State spoke at Big Ten Media Days and Tony Petitti spoke. So maybe in all of this, let's still puff our chest a little bit and say, hey, you guys got to help us too. Help us help you.
This is a little bit of breaking news, but Michigan football is fleeing America.
I saw this.
They said, we are engaged in ongoing discussions to kick off the 2026 season on foreign soil, playing host to Western Michigan at Deutsche Bank Park in Frankfurt, Germany on Saturday, August 29th. This non-conference matchup would become the first game played by the Wolverines outside of North America. Go there and stay there.
So this is what this will be about. Undoubtedly, will be some sort of Germany tourism company that gave them a bunch of money to play this game. That's how the Ireland games have happened. Like Florida State's played over there, Notre Dame's played over there. You do it week 0, and you play it over there, and some tourism company or airline is, because I think the Ireland one was put together by Aer Lingus, which is a flyer to Ireland. So I mean that's what it is. It's how do we find more money?
Could you imagine and I guess we're probably walking closer towards that, Ohio State ever doing something like this? Feels
for sure I can.
It feels sacrilegious. If you're
I could see Ohio State opening a season at Wembley.
Giving away a home game to go to.
No, not a home game.
That's what Michigan's doing.
They are. You're right. They are. I guess if the money's right, you would do it. By the way, this is probably the best example ever if Tim hates the inventory because this is about inventory. That's what that's about.
Or maybe you can't suspend us in Germany. We'll come over here and play our
Take
games.
the whole damn country.
You can't give us any sanctions in Germany.
I'll tell you what else we learned. Like James Franklin was my guy with his comment earlier in the week about, hey, what are we doing here? What are we doing in Las Vegas? This makes no sense. This is such a strange thing. Hack of our beat couldn't be there. So I was in favor of James Franklin this week, and I was in favor of Dan Lanning this week. This is Dan Lanning on FS1's First Things First on the calendar. Have a listen.
You know, I think we're in a unique spot in college sports where we're actually trying to juggle keeping bowl games alive and going to a playoff. And the reality in my mind is every other playoff system that exists when the season's over, next week's the bye, the next week after that's the next game. So I would love that model. I'd love for college football to end a little bit sooner. But those are all excuses. We had an opportunity to go out there and perform on the field. We didn't. But ultimately, I feel like everybody's been doing playoffs for a long time, and all of a sudden college football is trying to figure it out. And it's like really simple. You know, we used to make brackets in dodgeball when I was a PE teacher. You just do it right then and go play the games. So that's what I hope we'll get to at some point in college football. But I think, you know, there's a lot of pieces that control that.
Boy, that sounds familiar. Make week 0, week 1. Move it all. Even Paul was on with us this week, and he's coming around. So make week 0, week 1. Have it all done by Thanksgiving. Play conference championship games where the current Ohio State-Michigan game weekend is. I would get rid of the conference championship games entirely if I could, and then go and get going and get this thing done. And my proposal has always been to play the national semifinals on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then I would do it on a Saturday night. I think the national championship, college football is on Saturday. National championship would be on Saturday night. Play it the next Saturday that's more than a week away, and play the national championship game on that Saturday night, and that's it. I mean, that's you could even do it on a Friday night if you wanted to. You could do a Friday night national championship game if you wanted to. High school football is long over by then. If you wanted to stay out of the NFL's way on the weekend, but you got to get this thing done sooner rather than later, and you don't want to try and battle the NFL for headlines in January. The way that's going to get done though is if the television partners deem it. Remember how backwards this was last year. We went so haphazardly into a playoff that ESPN, who owns the inventory, and there's nobody who would argue that college football is more valuable inventory than college basketball. ESPN could not air the playoff games because they were contractually obligated to show college basketball that weekend. And so they had to farm them out to Turner. That's how haphazardly this has all been put together.
And don't forget, they weren't talking about it on the ESPN homepage because there was NFL going on. And they were talking about NFL. I have always, Bo, been I don't know if it's closet Oregon hater, but just kind of not a big fan of Oregon because I've always felt like, you know how I feel about Justin Herbert, who was obviously an Oregon quarterback. I just feel like they've always been a lot of flash, no substance. They've never won anything, and, they just had the flashy uniforms, and that's why people liked them. Dan Lanning is kind of making me a fan of Oregon. I love that dude. I mean, the more I hear from that guy, I like him more and more every time.
Also, could you imagine you're just going along throughout your day and then you realize, holy bleep, my gym teacher's coaching at Oregon.
Pretty good, right? Some guy tried. Wait, was that my gym teacher?
I was just playing Foursquare in his class.
He called me fat in 5th grade.
He's exactly right, too, on this notion of that we're still beholden to the bowls for some reason, because they greased enough palms 30 years ago that we're still trying to shoehorn in these bowls. And it's like, what are we doing? Who cares? No one's going to them. Did you see the attendance at these things? The games when Ohio State wasn't involved? Did you see the Texas-Arizona State game?
Nobody loves clinging to the past more than college athletics.
When it's convenient.
Good inventory on CBS Sports, though.
Yeah. All right. Sharon Moore at Big Ten Media Days. You will hear some of his comments specifically tied to the flag planting that happened here, and how he's going to handle sanctions whenever they might come. In addition to that, the Big Ten is on an island here. Is it an island that they can stay on and stay afloat? We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Jerry, I've made a decision.
Aaron, are you giving away free services again?
Well, yeah. How did you know?
I haven't been able to quit thinking about your AC piggy bank.
Get Eco.
ECO. We work to extend the life of their old air conditioner and then give back all the money we were paid to do it.
Up to $1,500.
When they need to buy a new system.
Jerry, I'm getting ready to do something like that again.
Get Eco.
ECO.
When we replace a water heater, I'm instructing all the Eco plumbers to give our customers up to $500 in free repairs before they leave the house.
$500 in free services that same day?
There's lots and lots and lots of things our plumbers can do for $500 or less.
And Eco is going to do these things for free when people buy a water heater?
Yeah, whatever they want for free.
That same day?
Same day.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and gonna make you cool again, HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.49%, APR 6.52% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Matty Ice here, up at McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. They are celebrating July 4th all month long. Right now, for qualified buyers, get up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 25 Silverado 1500. With McDaniel GM Superstore, you don't have to worry about market adjustments or hidden costs. That's why they are my go-to for a new vehicle. They are just a short drive north off Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Skyline Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with a new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
At United Dairy Farmers, peach is our most popular ice cream. And once you taste it, you'll know why. Right now, get 2 48-ounce cartons of UDF peach ice cream for $10. It's only here for a short time. UDF peach ice cream, made for you.
What does summer bring to mind? Lazy days by the pool? Hot dogs on the grill? How about large, sweaty men putting work in to defend their national title? Yes! Your summer home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see chances of showers and thunderstorms, some which could have heavy downpours and gusty winds. Otherwise, skies will be partly to mostly cloudy with our temperatures in the low 90s. The mugginess continues into tonight with overnight lows in the 70s and chances of showers and storms continuing, and then rinse and repeat on Saturday, highs in the low 90s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. After putting up with Tom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is, and we are proudly sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Wedding weekend's on. Starts today, tomorrow. Easton, Sawmill. Check them out. Tell them I sent you. Say hello to my guy Daniel at the Easton location. Good dude. Lots of them are. Big Ten's on a bit of an island here. Tony, I'll tell you this. Maybe it was not delivered, and maybe I didn't like the content and the way that it was presented, or quite honestly what it stood for, because I don't think it applies to Ohio State at all. But at the same time, at least Tony Petita told you who he was and what he's interested in. And I think he did that with the reporting from Dan Wetzel earlier in the week when he wrote the letter to the NCAA saying, hey, go easy on Big Blue. Kind of need him. Our television partners need him. We need somebody other than Ohio State to play at noon every single week. So he told you where he's motivated. He's motivated in providing his television partners with inventory that makes him happy. And he's trying to create more good television shows. It's just that simple. That's what it is. Now, the reason he has to do that is because some of his inventory, Tim May's going to be so excited about all this, some of his inventory is not good. It's not good inventory. And when they added the teams that they added teams that can't play home games at noon. So it really didn't help from an inventory standpoint. So the burden falls on these teams in the East Coast. And so he's trying to create more inventory. He's trying to create more games that matter for his television partners. And he told you that as plain as day. He also told you that. Now, he wouldn't comment on it. Adam King at 10 TV asked him the question. Good job out of Adam for doing so. He wouldn't comment specifically on what was in the letter to the NCAA about Michigan. But Dan Wetzel doesn't miss. And so why did he do that? He did that because the Big Ten can't have Michigan fall on their face. They can't. And more importantly, the television partners can't have Michigan fall on their face. They need Michigan. Michigan's played damn near as many big noon games as we have. Maybe more. I mean, it's between those two have played the most by far. So they need them. And that's how you're going to get what you're going to get, which I think isn't much when it comes to the punishments. So Petitti told you what he's all about. Sharon Moore was available out in Las Vegas as well. I think this is the third straight year where he couldn't talk about the sanctions. I think I saw that. This is the third straight media days when he was asked about sanctions and had to say, well, I couldn't talk about them.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing? Why would this take this long? We still don't have any solution. Wasn't the thing between 30 and 90 days? Wasn't that the thing we were told?
Yeah, I think we still have 20 or so days to reach that 90-day threshold.
You knew it wasn't going to be in 30.
No.
Yeah.
And that was just 30 to 90 days for Michigan to respond, right?
No,
and state
I think
their case.
I think they already had, didn't they, Bake?
Yeah,
Or
they'd
maybe
had
I'm wrong.
a weekend session with the Division I Council on Infractions in Ann Arbor, and I think the findings, or I guess probably the settlement, would be released in 30 to 90 days.
Yeah.
Because that's what it'll be.
Yeah.
An
The notion
agreement
that it's
between
a
both
settlement.
entities. Yeah.
Why is it a settlement? Like, you did wrong.
Oh, no, they
did
won't
so
admit
knowingly.
wrongdoing.
Yeah, I mean, here's Sharon Moore. He was asked about if it's hard to prepare for the uncertainty of the sanctions. Here's what he had to say on that.
You know, obviously can't talk about that, but not hard because you're just so excited about what's going on and the program of the team. And our players just don't get distracted by all that. Our coaches don't get distracted by all that because you can't worry about stuff you can't control. So all we're going to do is worry about what we can control and go play.
It's so odd. It's just sucks that this is the reality of this situation and the way that we govern college athletics. Because to a point, he is right. These players have nothing to do with that. But we can't punish the people who actually did it. And so we have to punish the ones who remain, and we have to punish the institutions. We lived through this. We've lived through this. And it's just a brutal way of doing business, but it's the way that it is. And so what can Michigan be? We'll get to them in 20 Most Interesting next week, but I look at their schedule, I look at their operation, and I think this feels like a long year. And they made the deal to get Underwood, and so he's going to play, and they need him to remain happy. That's kind of where they seem like they're at to me. And the Big Ten is sitting there with bated breath going, gosh, please don't hit them too hard. And I don't think they will get hit hard. I've been saying that from Jump Street. I don't think it's going to be anything. If anything, it'll be a financial slap on the wrist for them, a fine at most. I don't think that there's going to be, if you're waiting for some giant guillotine to fall on their head, I don't see it.
Yeah, that's one of those things to where I'm not thrilled that the NCAA is taking its sweet time with this, like extending even past that 90 days, because the understandable and deserved anger by the Ohio State fan base when that response from the NCAA comes down isn't going to be great.
No.
And again, the anger is going to be totally deserved. The feeling of injustice will be warranted. It goes back to Littlefinger's quote of, if you want justice, you've come to the wrong place. If you want justice, the NCAA is the wrong place to look. Or whatever this new college sports commission will be in terms of enforcement. Not about justice here. And that sucks.
You think they do this on purpose to try to get you further away from it and make you not care as much? Like, that was a long time ago. Who cares? Now, I mean, I don't know.
There could be something to that.
Seems like it, right?
Like maybe you'll forget that this even happened. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, because the Big Ten showed us this week. They don't want this. They don't want Michigan getting punished and hurt. They don't want the product on the field hurt. They want Michigan at Big Noon. They want all that. I mean, Petitti wouldn't have sent the letter if that wasn't the case.
Well, no. And in 2023, Charlie Baker, president of the NCAA, said that they're not going to punish them anymore on the field and that the title's legitimate. That's not going to, that isn't going away. So all of that is kind of in the books. You mentioned Littlefinger. HBO's been replaying like all of their on where I watch television on the old guy cable way. They've been replaying various shows from start to finish that they've done through the years. So a couple of weeks ago they were doing The Wire from start to finish. They did The Sopranos earlier this summer from like start to finish. Well, they did Game of Thrones over this week. They've done Game of Thrones start to finish. So when I get bored of something, I'll pop in and kind of see where we're at. And Bake, you didn't watch Game of Thrones, right?
No, I have not.
Yeah. So they'll show these episodes, and I'll paratroop in and watch for 20 minutes or something. And NBC came in, and he's like, "Oh, is this Game of Thrones?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know?" And he said, "Well, then apparently in the GIF world, they use it a lot. They use Game of Thrones GIFs quite a bit. So I think that's how he's aware of it." And he goes, "Is this good?" And I said, "Well, that's a complicated one." I said, "Yeah, I think it's probably the best and most ambitious thing that's ever been done on television. Just stop with 3 episodes left, and then you'll be fine." But it still holds up. All of it's still a stunning thing. Like if you just stop before the end, which just was rushed and all of that, but it really does still hold up to this day. And it got me thinking about so many of those shows in this streaming world we live in now. And we saw this with Suits a couple of years ago. We saw it with really The Office about 15 years ago, where the people who saw it when they saw it on their time, it was it truly was like a brand new show for all of them. And there was a totally new reaction to all of it for everybody. So that's one of those things that if you put it out there and people get hooked on it, I think you could see another boom with it, Reese.
Yeah, they're doing a new Harry Potter series coming up. I think in 2026. Like every book's going to be a season. And I'm just wondering, and I've wondered this since the end of Game of Thrones, when they redo that series to make it more in line with the books. And actually have whatever ending George R.R. Martin wanted for it to have that actually be the ending.
You think he'll ever write it?
No.
Doesn't feel like it, right?
I mean, how long's it been since he came out with a new book? How long's it been since he's come out with any new original content from that world?
I don't know. I mean, he's helping on those 2 that they have going now. They've got the House of the Dragon thing going, and then they've got the, they're doing like a Night in the Seven Kingdoms thing that they're doing. So I think he's involved in that, and you probably will never get it, really, is my guess, which kind of sucks.
Do you have any interest in the new season of House of the Dragon?
I mean, I watched it, but the end was just, I mean, it's still pretty cool, but my problem with it always was it was a prequel, and I kind of knew, how it's going to end. So, like, how interested can I be when I already know the end? Are you? Did you watch it all the way through, or did you bail?
I bailed, and then I went back to watch it again, and I'm kind of glad I did. Because I finished the season, and it's fine, but it wasn't anything that had my ass in a particular spot Sunday nights at 10.
No. I don't think it had that effect either. Tim May, putting ass in seats for as long as he's been doing it. He's up in 2 minutes, Bishop and Friends, right here with the Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hi, this is Bob Mashutter from Dick Mashutter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MashuterFord.net. Thanks.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived, the only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP. That's 614-CARS-HELP.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Friday, 10:30, we headed on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Have a conversation with our good buddy Tim May of the Tim May Show, and he joins us there. Well, what did you make of Tony Petitti this week, bud?
You know, pretty much what you expected. And, you know, the more interesting thing was the letter he supposedly sent. You know what I mean?
Oh, he sent it. You know he sent it.
Yeah, no, he did. He did admit he sent a letter, but he didn't admit what the, you know, I sent a letter, Maria, just to my wife. Tell her I don't want Michigan to be punished anymore. They've already had enough strife. I could write a song right there, man. That was
you just
good,
did, I think.
But, I mean, bottom line is, you know, I'm a fan of the 4-4-2-2-1, as we've talked about before, number one, because it guarantees you 4 spots, and then you have a chance at another one, right, or 2. But the bottom line is, I know, I heard y'all talking about me having a disdain for the word inventory. The only reason is because, you know, and I'm not, you know me, man, I'm not a old fuddy-duddy. I don't live in the past. But the idea now that, and we all know college football, especially in basketball, made the leap. Heck, and even women's softball and everything else have made the leap a long time ago to, you know, your regularly scheduled programming, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what bothered me. Is just it almost sounded like you were walking into a grocery store, and what's the inventory? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's on shelf A, B, C, and D? We need to put more on shelf A. And I agree. You know, if you're going to be in cahoots with these networks, and of course we know that's where he came from. That's his bailiwick. You know, you've got to offer them some premium merchandise. Right, not just clearance aisle stuff. So I understand where all that's coming from. I kind of like the idea of the play-in game situation because that means everybody kind of faces the same jeopardy of having played an extra game going into the playoffs. But I don't like it if it's just the Big Ten doing it. If you follow my drift.
Yeah.
I mean, in order to be the SEC has to do exactly the same thing, and that makes it more even. What I'm not a fan of, Bo, and I've told you this a million times, I'm not a fan in college football of anybody getting a bye in the playoffs because bye based on what? You know, meaning based on how you're ranked by the committee, based on you won a game. Let's say Ohio State had played Oregon like last year. Ohio State lost to Oregon, then Ohio State beat Oregon in the playoffs, a.k.a., as it turned out, the Rose Bowl. But now does that make Oregon lesser than Ohio State? You know, I mean, it's no. I mean, you should – so you physically – I'm talking about physically. You should not face any more jeopardy than the other team. But physically, I mean playing the actual games because that's where the wear and tear comes from. So I'm not a fan of any setup that has buys. So I think I've said that many times on your show and when I've been on with Reeser and everybody else. I'm not a fan of anybody getting buys. But then past that, you know, yeah, I mean, in some respects, the more the merrier, really, when you think about it. Games that you're much more in favor of watching games and having games that mean something as opposed to Ohio State Grambling.
For sure. And I think that
would mean something if Grambling pulled the upset. We all know that.
Well, it'll mean something because Grambling will bring their band, and their band's awesome. So that'll be pretty cool.
Bingo. Yeah, Well, we were sold that bill of goods a few years ago, Florida A&M, you know. And
did they not bring them?
Their band was on probation or suspension.
Oh, that's right.
So,
oh, my God, that's right.
I remember that. You got. What was that? Kenny Guyton going off.
Yeah, I think the problem that I have is they kind of are talking out of both sides of their mouth, right?
Yeah.
Like you're saying.
They're trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're saying to yourself, I mean, it's all. I mean, the reason that he wrote the letter to protect Michigan is for inventory, right? Because the television partners can't have Michigan bad. Michigan and Ohio State have to carry the brunt of Big Noon. You need them both to be able to do it. They're the two strongest brands, and so you can't have Michigan fall off a cliff, and that's why he wrote the letter. The reason he wants to do the play-in games on that college football championship Saturday is because he wants to provide inventory for his television partners who are screaming for it because they're aced out of the college football playoff. That's why he's doing it. That's the real truth of it, right? So
you have a noon game. You have a noon game, a 4 o'clock game, and the 8 o'clock championship game. Yeah.
If you want more games to matter, then why also do you have people like Indiana not playing Virginia this year and getting out of those games? Indiana got the benefit of the doubt last year. Like, what is our beef? They got 4 teams in a 12-team playoff. Tim, they're going to get 4 in every year.
I want to tell you this, though. I really like Kurt Cignetti's explanation of that. I really did, because he's right. If the Big Ten's playing 9 conference games and the SEC's playing 8, and some of these SEC teams do schedule a decent opponent with that extra non-conference.
The ones at the top do.
Some don't. You know what I mean? And so that I agreed with that, because when you play 9 conference games, you're playing 9 in essence power 2 game. I call them power 2 now, but power 4 games, not 8, and you're not left to your own devices of whether you want to play another Power 4 conference team. So I agree with Cignetti's explanation on that. Kennesaw, as I call it, Kennesaw Mountain Landis State, may not be that much worse than Virginia in a couple of years, because they've dedicated themselves to becoming good in football. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, there are all kinds of ways. That's the thing about college football. Well, this, you're never going to have equality across the boards when it comes to schedules. No. Or conference standings or anything like that. So why fake it,
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I just think what we all want is we just want more games that matter and more cool games. That's what everybody wants.
But wait a minute. Let me ask you this. If Indiana plays Virginia, is that must-watch TV for you?
Indiana versus anybody isn't must-watch TV for me.
There you go. So you just answered my question.
Yeah, but that's also Tony Petitti's problem. What you just said is also Tony Petitti's problem. That's why he's trying to manufacture inventory that people care about when he really has about 5 or 6 brands that people care about. That's the real truth of it.
But at the end of the year, which is more important than the beginning of the year, when you're going up against the NFL and Major League Baseball and everything else. I mean, at the end, man, it's a college football showcase. Can be a college football showcase there that first weekend in December. If everybody toes the line, but we know the hardest part is getting all the cats up to the line to toe the line.
Yeah, I think that they don't have the support for this. They don't. It's because it's not just the SEC; it's the Big 12 and it's the ACC too. And you're going to be on an island playing another high leverage game, and you can't tell me Ryan Day, having won or lost the Michigan game, wants to go play USC the first week in December to get in the playoff or not. There's no way he wants to do that. I don't buy that for
Michigan,
a second.
Or Michigan again.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. I mean, this when he's doing this, Petitti wants those games, but then he also kind of doesn't even want. He's like, because somebody asked him, like, well, if you lose one of those games, should it matter? He's like, well, no, not necessarily. Well, hold on a second. Is it a play-in or not?
Well, his point is there's always a back door, which is the at-large. The 3 at-large spots in his model. So,
it's just a crazy hill to die on.
We'll see how that goes. I'll tell you what, though. I was on Feinbaum's show earlier this week. I don't know if he told you that yesterday, but I pointed out to him. I said, by the way, Paul, here's an answer to a Jeopardy question, 5-1, and he stammered, and I go, what was the Big Ten's record against the SEC in bowl games last year?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
And he didn't like that. But what I got tired of, and at least people took a few shots, Kurt Cignetti being one of them, at least they took a few shots at this idea that the SEC is head and shoulders above anybody else in college football. We all know that's a sham right now. That's a false narrative that Greg Sankey continues to promote. I mean, Saturdays in the South are special. I mean, I grew up down there, right? But they're always going to be special. But Kentucky versus Mississippi State, is that must-see TV? No. And right on down the line. So, I mean, college football is really parity right now. Is and we're going to see it even more over the next few years, even gain any more. It's like there isn't that much difference between the top and the bottom. Excuse me.
Do you really think that?
In the middle. No, between the top and the middle. Yeah, I truly believe that.
I think it's the same.
We saw Georgia lose its starting quarterback last year in the SEC championship game. Was not the same team in the playoffs for sure.
No, that's true. But do you, real quick though, that was an injury situation. Do you really believe that the middle has caught up to the top?
All I know is,
I don't see that at all. I see it the same.
Did you see the game that Mississippi State gave Georgia last year? Mississippi State, a team that got drubbed by Toledo.
Oh, yeah, that's the beauty of this sport. Like, there are upsets.
Right.
Things happen. I just mean that in the final analysis, the teams with the most talent win. The teams in the Final Four last year were Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, and Texas. Like, those are the most talented teams.
But absolutely, Arizona State could have beaten Texas in the playoffs.
It can happen.
Arizona State absolutely should have beaten Texas, really, when you look at it. And that's what I'm talking about. I meant more of like maybe you take the top 16, 20 teams, any of those teams can beat each other. I was saying goes on any given day, but they've got the wherewithal to do it if you're not on your A game. And, as I said on the radio last night on Buckeye Show, the bye last year meant bye-bye, right?
Yeah, it did,
for the guys that got it. And so I truly believe that in college football now, there are a lot of teams that can beat each other given certain circumstances. I know I'm not talking about necessarily injury, but they can, you make a few mistakes here and there, and there's some well-coached teams out there that can beat you. And, I truly believe that. I truly believe it.
But do you we got to run, but do you really think Arizona State, had they beat Texas, would have beaten Ohio State?
I have no idea. That
and then would have beat, because I just don't think they have the depth for that. Like on a one-off, sure, but you need to have the best team to win a title.
Right. Well, yeah, but then how do you that's why we've got a playoff now to determine who's the best team, because a lot of times you don't necessarily know that. But like you and I have talked about before, I was happy with the BCS of matching the top two teams, and then the college football playoff when it moved to 4, I was happy with that. But now when you got talking about 16, you definitely have. You're going to have 8 to 10 other teams that think they ought to be in the thing. You know what I mean? Legitimately think they ought to be in it. And so that's what we're going. We're from inventory now to what's legitimate inventory, I guess.
Yeah, and trying to create legitimate inventory. Yeah. Good talk as always, my friend.
Brand? You want the store brand or you want Kellogg's? That's
right.
The question.
All right. Good talking to you, buddy.
All right. See you guys.
All right. There he goes. Tim May, the Tim May Show, and right here at the Fan on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We do Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Save a good deal more with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves, including new breakfast favorites all season long. Meyer brand syrup, pancake mix, and instant oatmeal are all just $1.79 each. Plus, students will enjoy the well-packed backpack Good Life with back-to-school supplies for $1 or less, including Meyer brand 24-count crayons, Meyer brand 70-sheet notebooks, and Crayola Classic Colors markers. Shopping for breakfast essentials and back-to-school supplies is a good deal better at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meyer app.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My AC stopped working. Your competition says it's fried. When I saw their cost to replace it, I could have just died.
We can give a second opinion, give you options and advice. We'll strive to earn your trust and make you a client for life.
Get a free second opinion. Replace or repair.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
The Dublin Irish Festival, August 1st through 3rd in Dublin, Ohio. Voted 2025 USA Today Best Cultural Festival in the nation. This year promises 3 incredible days of Irish music, dance, food, and fun. Get your tickets at DublinIrishFestival.org.
It's the summer event at your main Honda of Dublin, and Rich has deals that are red hot. Lease the rugged 25 Honda Ridgeline Sport for only $339 a month, or finance with an unbeatable 0.99% APR. Or you can take on any road in the all-new 25 Honda Passport RTL. Lease it now for $449 a month or 3.99% APR. Summer's here. Dive into the savings at your main Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. See dealer for details.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Friday, July 25th is Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. Visit the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Department of Insurance, and other state agency booths. Come learn about mental health resources available to you and to your family. Join us on Friday, July 25th for Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair.
Do you feel that? The season is getting closer. Buckeye football comes your way in 36 days. Every game, every season. Proud to be your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Dick's Sporting Goods, we have always believed sport has the power to change lives. Community happens here. Change happens here. Sport happens here. Introducing the all-new Dick's House of Sport, bringing new experiences, new services, and unrivaled selection from the top brands to a new place Polaris can call home. Featuring a rock wall, a Hitrex multi-sport cage, and 3 golf hitting bays. Dick's House of Sport at Polaris Fashion Place. Grand opening celebration August 15th through August 17th.
Factory direct is really pretty simple. The factory sells it directly to the consumer. I mean, we build it. There's nothing that anybody else does. We have stations where everybody touches the window. Everyone sees what's going on. So if there's an issue, we catch it as it's going down the line. That's probably the biggest thing, is the ability to make sure what goes out the door is what I want to go out the door.
Visit Rosati Windows and get 35% off all windows and doors by July 31st.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Earlier this week in Las Vegas, Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith joined CBS Sports and was asked his Mount Rushmore of Ohio State wide receivers.
One, you got to go the great Chris Carter.
Okay. Yeah, that's one. It's two.
You got to go. I'm going to throw Marvin there.
Yep. That's 3.
I'm going to go Jax.
Okay.
Who's 4?
Well, I got a lot.
Dude, can't go wrong with nobody, really. I'm going to go Ted Ginn Jr.
Ooh. The 2 he was referring to, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith and Jigba, along with Teddy Ginn and Chris Carter. Thing or not a thing?
Good for him by working in some of the old fellas. So where do we stand on? I mean, like doing a wide receiver Mount Rushmore at Ohio State is just brutal because you think about you think about David Boston, Joey Galloway,
Terry
Glenn. Good Lord, yeah.
Michael Jenkins.
Yeah, and then even in recently, you think of like Garrett and Olave, and their kind of spot and all. Boy, it's tough. It's really tough. I don't know who my 4 would be. But Carter and Marv feel like they're automatics. It feels like Jeremiah's on his way to being an automatic. And then the last spot is a Thunderdome to me.
So this is a super fun thing. I think for me, my two favorite of all time Ohio State receivers, and they were very good, obviously, are Joey Galloway and Chris Olave. I love them both. So I would have to have them on there for me. I don't think you can do one without Chris Carter.
And that's where it starts.
It's you got to go Marv, I think, right? He's the only two-time All-American.
Well, Marv for sure. I mean, that's why I say it. To me, Marv and Chris feel like, that kind of feels automatic.
But then whoever your fourth is starting to lose ground quickly to number 4.
Do you guys know who's the all-time leader in receiving yardage here?
Michael Jenkins.
No.
Oh, no, it's Mac. Yeah, Mac.
Emeka Egbuka got it. Yeah. 28-68. Now, he played more games.
But Mac was never the best receiver on his team, as crazy as that is.
It is, right. So to me, like, Olave feels like he is right there. David Boston was a dude. I mean, just dude.
We haven't even mentioned Santonio Holmes.
No room for it. Yeah, it's a crazy list. Did Boston have, what was his best year? All right, so 29 for 430 year one. Different era, too. You got to remember that. 70 for 930 and 14 touchdowns in 97. And then in 98, he went 74 for 1330 and 13 touchdowns. So he might be the answer. That's pretty massive.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Totally different era for Carter. His best year was 65 for 1066 and 11, but totally different era. Hard to compare.
And I would think older people would say Paul Warfield, right?
Probably,
you have to have him in there.
Yeah.
In a recent appearance on Up and Adams, Tyrann Mathieu talked about his decision to retire.
That's been a conversation I've kind of had, really going into the last couple seasons. And I think the older I got, the more challenging and harder it became to lead my kids. Like at first it was all cool, right? Like I get the weekend off, you know what I mean? But then it's like once you get a certain age, or I guess I should say once you kind of, begin to experience different parts of life, I think priorities shift, right? Like I think the things that meant the most to me when I was 22, they don't really mean the most to me at 33.
Thing or not a thing.
Good for him. Pretty good perspective on that. He's made a lot of money. He's had a great career. He is a college football Hall of Famer. It's pretty amazing. He had that year when he finished 5th in the Heisman as a true sophomore and then was suspended for his junior season. Didn't play his junior season and then had a remarkable NFL career. I want to say he was an all-decades team guy in the NFL. He's probably a borderline Hall of Fame guy there too. Yeah, I'm with it. I mean, I think it's a smart thing and you get perspective as you age. He's 32. Plays a collision sport. Makes sense.
Yeah, this is the thing. I always go back to what Dana White says about his fighters. If they're even thinking about retirement at all, it's time to go ahead and retire because you're not 100% in. And good for Tyrann Mathieu to be like, hey, I want to go out on my own terms. I want to be able to hang out with my kids, hang out with my family. Like, I will never begrudge a guy for going out on his own terms and going out early so he can do what he wants. Good for him. He's made a lot of money. Go enjoy it.
On Thursday's episode of the 520 podcast, Jeff Teague shared that he was harassed by a LeBron fan following his steroid accusation earlier this week, which he, maintains it was a joke.
Whoever the dude that pulled up on me at the gas station, boy, that almost was your last day, boy. Whoever you was, Mook, you weren't here. The fool called me a B. Yeah.
Over Brian?
Got my back to pumping the gas. Then I turned back around. I'm like, it's no way he's talking to me. So I had to load up. Like, this one's gonna fly. Okay. Then he looked back. He like, yeah, you a snitch. You a hoe, you a snitch. I'm like, huh? I'm like, what are you talking about? Bron didn't do that. I'm like, man, go on, man.
Quit playing, bro.
Go on, man. Stop playing, bro.
Stop playing now.
I was like, man, it's too early for that, bro. Stop playing with me. Go ahead, bro. White dude at the gas station. Like, what is the problem?
Thing or not a thing?
So Look, it has to be a thing because we have never mentioned Jeff Teague's name on this air ever. And we are.
Probably won't again.
Playing clips and probably won't again. And most people don't even know where he's been up to. He's a marginal player. So if the idea was get attention for what he does, then he's won. Because he's gotten a lot of attention for what he's done. What he's, what he said.
I mean, you had to know stuff like this was coming, right? When you open your mouth and make accusations like this, whether they're true or not, especially about a guy as polarizing as LeBron, so many people love him and so many people hate him, you had to expect this was coming. You had to know somebody at some point somewhere, whether it's the grocery store, the gas station, just driving your kid to school, somebody was going to confront you about it. So, I mean, it's a pretty predictable thing.
Yeah. I think he probably got what he wanted out of all of this, which is the attention. Final hour of the program. 20 most interesting. Is this the year in Happy Valley? The Nittany Lions up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use law enforcement siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you if you get a speeding ticket, it doesn't end there. You have to pay expensive fines. You can't go to your friend's wedding because that also costs money. And your insurance rates could increase. See? We didn't have to use law enforcement sirens after all. Getting a speeding ticket has consequences. Sooner or later, speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Common Man here for Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton. My guys at Germain are celebrating their biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. Tons of vehicles on the lot for you to choose from, and they're ready to deal. It's also the Lexus Golden Opportunity sales event with rates as low as 2.99%. I was riding in my Lexus on one of our hot summer days, and I felt the crisp breeze of cold air on my cracky. Don't you want that for yourself? Of course you do. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. GermainLexus.com.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I've gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Football in July, outstanding. And it's kicking off at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, July 31st in Football Heaven in Canton, Ohio. And you can still grab tickets for the Hall of Fame game between the Lions and the Chargers. And then on August 2nd, 4 of the greatest of all time get immortalized in bronze at the Class of 25 enshrinement. And cap off the weekend Sunday with a concert for legends featuring Nickelback with special guest Mitchell Tenpenny. It's a gold jacket weekend. Visit ProFootballHOF.com to learn more and get your tickets.
Final days. Diamonds Direct Summer Showcase ends this Sunday, but there's still time to make it unforgettable. Get an extra 20% off almost everything. Engagement rings, wedding bands, earrings, gold jewelry, tennis bracelets, and stunning fashion jewelry. Plus, this weekend only, top designers from New York and LA are live in store with exclusive collections you can't find anywhere else. The sparkle, the savings, the moment. Don't miss it. Only through Sunday, only at Diamonds Direct. Appointments are filling fast. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team? We can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes, teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius.
or 2 half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Save no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. It's day 3 of training camp for the Bengals and the Browns. Cleveland got some not great news this morning as linebacker Jordan Hicks announced his retirement after 10 seasons in the league. The 33-year-old Hicks played in 12 games for Cleveland last season. That was his first year with the team. He dealt with elbow and concussion issues throughout. Browns head into 2025 without 2 starting linebackers. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah will also miss the season, dealing with a serious neck issue. In college football, the University of Michigan says they're heading to Germany for the first game of the 2026 season. They'll host Western Michigan on August 29th of next year. And in baseball, the Reds host the Rays tonight at 7:10. You can hear that game on The Fan following the Buckeye Show. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Swimming in debt with rates as low as 8.99% APR. Save your summer with a debt consolidation loan. Visit bmifcu.org/consolidate.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour of the week. We close it out with the Nittany Lions. 20 most interesting. Hit it.
There are millions of college football teams around the world, but only a handful of them made our cut. Bishop and Friends present the 20 most interesting college football programs.
All right, James Franklin had a good week by my means. He took the league to task over having their media days in Las Vegas. It feels like he's ready to have kind of the target on his back. They were the preseason pick to win the Big Ten. They're going to start the year in the top 5 in the country, probably 4th, no lower than 5th. They have their quarterback returning. It was the one thing he could never do is to get the quarterback and to keep him on campus and to develop him, and they have that. Drew Aller is back. There aren't many teams in the country that return a starting quarterback in terms of teams that have the talent to win it all. This one does. Not only did Aller return, but Nick Singleton returned. Katron Allen returns. There are studs on the defense, the offense, A.J. Harris, so many. They got Jim Knowles from us. And yet, if we were to do a little pop quiz right now, and I were to ask you, how many ranked teams did Penn State beat last year in the regular season? How many do you think they beat?
1?
I think that would have been my guess. Indiana.
They beat Illinois. Didn't play Indiana. They beat Illinois.
Yeah,
that's it.
Avoided the Hoosiers.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They lost to Ohio State. They lost to Oregon. Their path, how many people remember this? Unless you're like us and you're knee-deep in the muck on this all the time. Their path to the national semifinal was beating SMU at home and beating Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. They didn't have to play Georgia. They didn't play Oregon. Didn't play Texas. Now, they were really good against Notre Dame in the semifinal, and you have to tip your hat to that. But a lot of this is this was a national semifinal team from a year ago, but when you actually dig in how it all happened, and you realize they have one ranked win last year against Illinois early in the season. They lost to Ohio State. They lost to Oregon. Now, they're respectable in both of those losses. Respectable loss. Lost to Ohio State 20-13. Lost to Oregon. I think that one's not as close. If you watch that game, that is not as close as 45-37 would lead you to believe with Oregon. But they lost that game. And their reward for losing that game was a path that said SMU at home and then Boise State. Meantime, Oregon won that game, had multiple ranked wins, including a win over Ohio State. And Ohio State's reward was, let's go play in the Rose Bowl against the Buckeyes, the most talented team in the country. When we have these playoff conversations, this is the stuff that drives me nuts. That the path is easier for the team that loses than the team that wins. Penn State had an easier path. And I think the way they're being viewed this year, in part, is because of that. All of that being said, if not now, when? If not now, when? My biggest beef with Penn State, and I understand why it feels like a lot of that fan base has this mentality, is that they don't hold their own program to the standard that I think it should be held to. And I think it's probably because they remember what happened towards the back end of Paterno before the Sandusky stuff, where he kind of lost the grip of the program and they had some down seasons. And they remembered what happened in the immediate aftermath of the Sandusky scandal and how precious all of this is. And so they're like appreciative of Franklin without really holding him to any sort of standard. It's pretty crazy that in 12 years in Happy Valley, he's won one Big Ten championship. In 2000, that's it.
I was even more shocked to realize that this was their only college football playoff appearance.
Yeah.
Like, if this, for me, and you speak really well to the expectations, how they differ, or how it feels like they differ between the national college football fan and the local Penn State college football fan, is if this team's not playing for a college football national championship on Monday, January 19th, the season's a failure.
That's how I'd view it.
Everything they've got coming back with, finally, for the first time since I think Franklin got onto campus, they've got a legitimate NFL quarterback. And they've got the best, deepest running back room in the country, and defensive guys whose names you will hear through the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft in 2026. What would be the excuse? Like, even we asked, I think, Grok, Twitter's AI friend, a couple weeks ago about Penn State. He's like, they got all the talent in the world but James Franklin. So if that's the common denominator for artificial intelligence, and what feels like the common denominator for the fan out there, hey, the talent's great. Andy Kotelnicki, in his second year as Penn State's offensive coordinator, they bring Jim Knowles over from Ohio State. If James Franklin's the one thing you're like, that's what's keeping him from it, how could you not eject him if this doesn't, this season, wind up in a college football playoff national championship appearance?
The more I looked into them for this today, the more I feel like they should win the national championship. Like, they returned their 3 leading rushers from last year, including Drew Aller. And they have 2 pretty darn good running backs that were freshmen last year behind those guys. They returned 4 offensive linemen. Their offensive line should be one of the favorites to win the Joe Moore Award. Defense, they lost Abdul Carter. That hurts. But the other defensive end, his name's escaping me right now. Dennis Sutton.
Yeah, Dennis
He's
Sutton,
pretty darn good, too, there. It's going to be interesting because we saw with Jim Knowles here how long it takes them to adjust to Jim Knowles and the defense and the scheme he wants to run. Kotelnicki, this is his second year. So that offense should take a step with a second year with him as offensive coordinator. Like, everything is there. I do not believe, and I never have believed in Drew Aller. Like a lot of people, like Reese, you say a bona fide NFL quarterback. Like, there's no doubt he's going to get drafted into the NFL as a quarterback. I have doubts that he makes it as a quarterback in the NFL. But it's all, do you trust Franklin for them to get this done?
Dude, they even were aggressive in the portal and went and got receivers.
Got to get a deep threat.
They got 3 transfer receivers who are going to start for them, including Kyron Hudson from USC. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, the more you look at them, you go, yeah, go win it. Go win it. The schedule sets up. They're going to get their whiteout game. They get that in the Oregon game at the end of September. They have to come here in November, but that's one of those things. You can lose that game and you're still going to be fine. They lost it last year and we're obviously fine. No, this is it.
They're non-conference, not great.
No.
They're Big Ten. They get Oregon, but as you mentioned, Oregon's first time to Happy Valley in a whiteout. At UCLA, Northwestern at Iowa, at Ohio State, Indiana at Michigan State, Nebraska at Rutgers. It's not the most difficult schedule ever.
No, it's not. And they're non-conference this year: Nevada, Florida International, and at Villanova. So, you're going to know that game September 27th. They're getting Oregon early on for Dante Moore. First month on the job. I think that's beneficial to them as well. By the way, you want to talk about, all this talk about non-conference scheduling and all of this, 9 games, 8 games, so forth and so on. Right now, I just pulled up Penn State's schedule on ESPN, and they have they have the tickets link. So if you want to buy tickets, you can get into those first games. Like the opener, you can get into the Nevada game for $14. You can get into Florida International for $17. Villanova's 34. I guess they're in state, so there's some excitement for it. But yeah, so no, this is it. This is it for them. This is Franklin's. It's all come together. His guys stayed. They were good in the portal. He got Knowles in. Aller's back. His running backs are back. The weapons are there. The schedule is easy. You could lose to either Ohio State or Oregon, or quite honestly, you could lose to both of them. And because of where they're going to start the year, they could still get into the postseason. This is the if not now when year for them. This is the best chance they've had at this level probably since mid-90s ish in terms of having the talent to back it all up. I know they had a great year in 2016, but they lost early. If memory serves, they lost early that year, and then they lost to Ohio State that year. Right? In 2016, that's JT's greatest, probably his best half of football he's ever played. And Ohio State got in over them that year in 2016. But he's got NFL guys. He's got NFL guys on defense. He's got an NFL quarterback. I don't like doing Ohio versus Ohio crime on him, but I'm with you, Bake. I don't see it. I get real nervous when people are saying, oh, he's going to go number 2 in the draft last year. I'm like, no. You watch more football. Watch him play against Notre Dame. And then don't worry about what he's doing against SMU and Boise State. Let's see what he does against Notre Dame, and then he comes back to earth. But it's all there for him. It's all there for him. And do they finally capitalize? This is their best chance to do so. With the categories on the Nittany Lions coming up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet stop you from being active and getting healthy this year. Trade in your bad feet for good feet at the Good Feet store.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with a new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
The sun is out and the savings are on at Coughlin Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Take up to $7,000 off MSRP on any new Kia EV in stock, or get up to $3,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing for 60 months. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Largest Kia dealer based on current ground stock at all 4 Coughlin Kia locations. 0% for 60 months equals $1,667 for 1,000 finance. All manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. Dealer financing required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. Ends 7/31/25.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And for a limited time, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.49%, APR 6.52% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down per $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan.
Got a teen athlete? Then you know putting in the hours is all part of the game. But did you know the same goes for learning how to drive? Because just like playing a sport, learning to drive takes practice. The only difference is the stakes are even higher. 50 hours of practice time driving with you? Worth every minute. Gear up at teachyourteentodrive.ohio.gov.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see chances of showers and thunderstorms, some which could have heavy downpours and gusty winds. Otherwise, skies will be partly to mostly cloudy with our temperatures in the low 90s. The mugginess continues into tonight with overnight lows in the 70s and chances of showers and storms continuing, and then rinse and repeat on Saturday, highs in the low 90s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for the categories on the Nittany Lions. Most of these are pretty good. I mean, there's a way of doing this, and they hit on most of them. I got to tell you, like, the boys really hate Penn State. I mean, they hate them like it's almost like not quite Michigan level, where they won't even say the M in Michigan, but certainly Penn State and Oregon are way up there in terms of, like, they're way up there. NIL portal grade for the Nittany Lions. What do you got, Bake?
I feel like this is probably a B for them this year, because I feel like they addressed the wide receiver position really hard, and that's the one position you really had a question about with them. I don't know, like, if it wasn't for that, it would be very great, but I think they hit the need that they really needed.
Yeah, they didn't have a deep threat last year, and so they went out and acquired 3 wide receivers. One of them, I think, thinking that can be that deep threat. I give a B as well, and I do a lot more of it towards their roster retention, because I imagine that, Denis Dennis Sutton, the 2 running backs, Singleton, Allen, probably got some nice offers following that semifinal loss last season. And so keeping them happy I think it was probably a big part of what the Beaver Tunnel Club, whatever the collective's called, was a big part of that offseason.
Yeah, they did what they needed to do. You're right on the retention. They only had 8 guys come in, so it was a small class, but they got the ones that they wanted. Their player rating's decent. I've kind of come to the point, though, that maybe that it's very possible Penn State just is not capable of more in terms of a recruiting standpoint than what Franklin is giving them. And they recruit usually in the 10 to 15 range is usually where they are. And I do think some of that is just, it's a really hard place to get to. I just think it's tough. And I think the erosion of talent in Pennsylvania, which we've talked about before, which is very, very real, I think that hurts them a lot. And I think Ohio State with, once Larry Johnson got here and his kind of connections into the DMV area, I think that hurt him too. So, yeah, I think it's probably a B- type situation is probably where they are, and this is probably about as good as it can be on a talent acquisition point from Penn State. Would Buddy Carity want to run their collective grade, Bake?
I feel like this is a D. I don't know how much money they have. I don't think, Happy Valley's out there in the middle of nowhere. As you mentioned, I think it's hard to get kids to come there nowadays, so I think this is a D.
That's an F. Beaver Stadium Tunnel Club is what I was talking about with their little, windows that you can see the players enter the field. I think he'd have no desire to go to Pennsylvania, no desire to be in State College. Like a historical program like Penn State he'd take the call. He would kindly decline.
Yeah, I think it's of the 20 most interesting. I mean, we're going to get to one next week that would be lower, but it's way down there. What did you guys give Notre Dame on a Buddy Garrity grade?
I'd give him a C-.
Did you guys go C-? Yeah, I think it'd be very similar.
Yeah, probably pretty close. I think Notre Dame would be a little better, but not much.
Yeah, it's very similar. Plus, you're Catholic, and Buddy is definitely Southern Baptist. Campus social life grade in State College. What do you got, Beck?
It's got to be a D again, right? There's nothing there, and there's nothing around there. So I think maybe I'm even being kind, giving him a D.
Have you been there?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Reese?
Same for me. I've never been, no desire to go outside of a Penn State whiteout. I think their game against Oregon is a whiteout game. Mm-hmm. So if you could guarantee me transport to and from without having to drive all the way or without having to stay 20 minutes outside of town, sure.
So I think as a spectator who is coming in for the weekend to watch a game, their game day atmosphere is the best in the Big Ten. It's Ohio State, it's them, it's the Shoe. Those are the two best. I'm sure Oregon is too. I've not been there. But those two are the best when it comes to... You had a night game at either of those places, electric. But I think if you're a student at Penn State, once you're there, it's probably like an A-, B+. The campus is beautiful. State College is really cool. It is a college town in the biggest sense. There's a lot of Athens to it, Reese, really. Like that type of feel. Like it's got that feel to it. It doesn't at all feel like here or Ann Arbor or Madison. Not at all. It feels really, it's the most SEC feel of all the Big Ten operations. Like middle of nowhere, RVs come in on Friday night, beautiful campus in a beautiful valley. It's kind of all of those things. All right, do they wear the right uniform grade at Penn State, Bake?
I mean, this has got to be an A. Again, it's just one of those ones that you see, you think college football. I love the simplicity. It's a number, and that's it. I just love it. So simple.
I think it's a B+. I've never been the biggest fan of Penn State's uniforms. The color combination is fine. It's fine that they haven't changed it forever. It's fine that when you do the whiteout, but it doesn't do anything for me, I'll say.
Did you like it as a kid, Bake, or do you appreciate it as an adult?
I did like it as a kid.
Did you?
Yeah, I think it's just how you identify it, right? I think is what it is with me. It's just kind of like Oklahoma, Texas. To me, it's just you see that uniform and you know.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, I think for me, it's probably, I actually think their home one is, I think they're all white look, which my kids can't understand why they don't wear the all white during the whiteout. Like they're always like, wait, they don't wear white in the whiteout? I'm like, no, they don't. I think the navy over white's pretty good. I think they have all of that right. I think their throwback's pretty cool when they throw the numbers on the helmet and have the gray face mask. I think that's a really clean look when they wear that. I think it's like a B+, A-, but it definitely feels like everything college football is. And they've never really worn anything else. They pretty much wear that, and that's it. They're kind of like Alabama in that sense. There really isn't any variation of it. Which player off their team would we want in scarlet and gray? Here's another one.
To me, it's Nick Singleton. I just remember how good he was as a freshman. And then last year, it seemed like he split more time with Katron Allen. But he's just such a dynamic and can be explosive back. And again, we think James Peoples going to be really good. We think C.J. Donaldson is a good compliment. But you know what you're getting with Nick Singleton, and he's a workhorse.
Yeah, I think Singleton's the obvious choice. Zane Durant and Denis Dennis Sutton on their defensive front, I think you'd take in a heartbeat if you were Ohio State.
I mean, there's a handful of guys with them that would come over here and start, but I do think Singleton or Allen. I mean, Allen's really good too. I think both of those guys would come in and be bell cow guys, and you'd feel better about that backfield. Not to say Peoples can't be that; he very well can. We just haven't seen it, and we've seen Nick Singleton do it. We've seen Katron Allen do it. All-time big man on campus. There's a lot to choose from here.
There are a lot, but to me, there's only one answer, and that's LeVar Arrington. Like, they all wear number 11 now because he looked so damn cool doing it back when he played there. And those were maybe some of the best Penn State teams of my lifetime was those teams. He was just such a different animal in college and was such a beast.
Yeah, Arrington's the right answer. I don't remember him from his playing days, but I always thought the ultimate Penn State linebacker was Paul Posluszny because they're the name. I think he had a cowboy collar. Like, just the look and his name and everything fit with linebacker U, which I don't know if they can necessarily claim as highly anymore. But Saquon's also on that list. I had him in a question mark.
Oh, my God. I mean, the running back lineage from Franco Harris and then finishing with Saquon Barkley, Nick Singleton now. Kajana Carter was unreal. Kajana Carter at Penn State felt like he walked on water.
And I remember him at Westerville South.
A local kid.
So, yeah.
Wasn't Curtis Enos, too?
Enos was, he wasn't local. He was an Ohio guy, but I don't think he was local.
He's an Ohioan, though, right?
Yeah.
I think he was. Yeah, Kajana Carter was unbelievable. I'll tell you, like, Jack Ham. You want to go old school? Like Jack Ham. Pretty damn cool. But, yeah, it's Arrington. LeVar Arrington, to me, wearing number 11, like, it's almost it's like in the same league of, like, 34 at Auburn. It's like the modern version of that, or 34 at Georgia, or 2 at Florida State, or I mean, it just has such an iconic feel to it, him in that number 11. And he had that play at the goal line where he made the ridiculous play on the goal line. I want to say it was against Illinois, but like, yeah, I think Arrington's probably the right answer on all of it, but they have a lot to choose from.
So Curtis Enos, real quick, was from Union City. It's over right on the Ohio-Indiana border, about 30, 40 miles north of I-70. You could also argue Joe Paterno, right, on Big Man on Campus, even though
for sure.
The way it ended.
I don't know about anymore.
Yeah, there was a time. Yeah, for sure there was a time. That's pretty amazing that Kajana Carter didn't play here and Curtis Enos didn't play here, and they had to drive through Ohio to get there. That tells you a little bit about what it was all about. I don't know those circumstances. Win it all playoff conference championship, respectable or chump for the Nittany's, Bake?
If there's ever a time where they're going to win it all, it's this year.
Yeah, you got to win it all. If you're Penn State, that's what you have to be thinking at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think it should be win it all. I think the minimum requirement for them should be college football semifinal again. The road might be a little bit more difficult. They should be the favorite to win the Big Ten. I don't think that they will, but they should be. This juxtaposed to the other powers in this league, this is the best spot they've been in a very, very long time. We'll get some perspective on the Nittany Lions. Zach Seyko going to join us coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
We repurpose a lot of the junk we haul away.
Donatables get donated to a family that needs them, and the recyclables get recycled.
And we have enough trucks that we can come the day you call us.
We work to help your neighbors, the planet, and you.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain, and at Toyota West, we're having our biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. With over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're searching for. And during our Go Forth sales event, every pre-owned vehicle is discounted and comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty. At Toyota West, you don't have to choose between a great experience and a great price. We deliver both. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com.
Delaware County Veterans Services is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Give Delaware County Veterans Services a call, 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
20 most interesting, the Penn State Nittany Lions for perspective. On the Nittany's, we head out on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation with Zach Seyko, covers Penn State at Locked On Nittany Lions. Zach, thank you so much for taking the time. Is Penn State comfortable in the role of favorite?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Really appreciate the invitation. I got to think so. They have been very clear that they have high expectations within the locker room, and that they understand that they know what this is the territory that you don't, when you bring back Drew Aller and 2-star running backs and you make uncharacteristic additions in the transfer portal. I mean, they went and I imagine spent top dollar in NIL to go get positions of need and top positions available in that spring transfer portal window if they didn't think they were ready for this moment. So they would have passed on it if they felt otherwise, but no, they felt like they needed to make not one but two splashes to really go after it. I mean, this is they are not going to specifically say, they are not going to verbally say, yeah, this is a national title or bust, but they're certainly acting like it.
They are. Yeah, you know what it reminds me? It reminds me very much of what Ohio State did last year. After seeing Michigan win the national title, it was like, okay, we need these things. Let's go get them. Let's be aggressive at it right away. Let's retain our guys. Let's make sure, and this is that we're going to make a run at it, and they did. What was the catalyst for Penn State having that view of the offseason the way that they did in terms of the portal, in terms of retention of their own players? How did they get everybody to come back? What do you think allowed for all of this to happen?
I mean, money talks first and foremost. We're never going to know ultimately what Drew Aller might make in NIL, but I do think there was a little bit of self-sacrifice that I don't think everybody is making top premium NIL dollars. I do think some people took a hit on whatever they didn't maximize their earnings, if they will. I do think, and that's what James Franklin and Penn State naysayers or critics will say that he's a snake oil salesman, but he really gets players and coaches to buy into what he's doing. Mm-hmm. There is at least a closeness within the program that they don't mind sacrificing some things long term, and Penn State doesn't have this constant roster turnover. You see with programs that guys are just getting pushed into the portal left and right, and it's a completely brand new roster. And for the most part, I mean, ever since the transfer portal and NIL era, Penn State's at least been consistent where you just have the foundation. Sure, guys are going to leave because that's the natural attrition of college football now, but Ohio State doesn't have that issue. I honestly, for the most part, I mean, most teams in the Big Ten don't, but Penn State is one of them, or at least for the teams high up. I would say that Ohio State and Penn State are really good at just keeping players bought in and having that sense of, hey, like, these are my brothers. This is a community sort of thing. And it's about being good football players together rather than like, well, what can I get? What can I make? So that's really what it is that James Franklin's just really good at keeping a program together.
Zach, one of the most stunning things of this offseason was the news that the defensive coordinator here, who had just won a national title, was going to go be the defensive coordinator there. From your side of it and your perspective of it, how did that come to be that Jim Knowles is a defensive coordinator at Penn State? And what was that news like when you started to get wind of it?
Yeah, so it was I'll go back just a few years. I'll say this. James Franklin has always had Jim Knowles as his top defensive coordinator target. And I don't think it's any secret in Happy Valley, but in a perfect world, and that's what happened. The perfect world showed up because before he went to Ohio State, James Franklin was interested in Jim Knowles. And I think there's always been that, like, hey, are you ready to come over to Penn State? Is the time right? And even during the time at Ohio State, there was just kind of this quiet, James Franklin was never going to never not push for Jim Knowles at any point in time. And there was Manny Diaz left and Tom Allen left. So there was always that, hey, Jim, are you interested? So this has kind of been an ongoing dance with James Franklin and who he's been targeting for the most part. Now it's just kind of come to fruition. They've made the competitive offer. Most people assume that, it's going to be Oklahoma because his fiance is out there. And then from what I heard, it's just, no, his family's back in Pennsylvania. His fiance was very supportive of if he took a job in Pennsylvania or Oklahoma or wherever. It really didn't matter. She wasn't going to hold him to one specific destination. And that's when those questions were answered in real time. That's when Penn State media members and then, fans on message boards kind of got this quiet optimism that, we're really going to be able to pull this off. And I think that's what the surprise of it was, is that because Penn State doesn't normally do that, where they land the big fish, where they, like I said, they go into the transfer portal and they get the top wide receiver available, the top linebacker available. They outbid Oklahoma and Ohio State for the best defensive coordinator in the country objectively. And I think that just kind of that reset the paradigm slightly with Penn State. Again, a national title or bust. They wouldn't have made this move if they didn't believe this was the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking to Zach Seyko, covers Penn State at Locked On Nittany Lions. If they are going to, because you look at this roster, I mean, you go into this, you say, okay, and there is probably some of this, and I'm guessing people over there probably would acknowledge it as well. It does feel a little bit like Dabo, right, before he won at Clemson, like always right there, but he's got to win the big one at some point, and then he did, and then Clemson stopped becoming a thing. Buddy, when we put it out there on social that we're doing Penn State today, they're like, oh yeah, Franklin going to Franklin. So that's always part of it, right? That you hear, and maybe you guys hear that over there or not, I don't know, but over here we always get that. I'm not worried about Penn State. Franklin going to Franklin. Well, if he is not going to do that, it's going to be on Aller, right? It's going to be about him in big moments. There was a lot of momentum for him going to the league. He didn't. He stayed. When is the last time they've been in this type of spot at quarterback at the most important position? Also, Zach, juxtaposed to most of the other big-time programs in the country that have this type of talent are starting over at quarterback, including here.
Yeah, and that's why I think, that's why on paper it looks like Penn State has the best setup. That it doesn't, that I do think they should be the Big Ten favorite. Again, whether that actually happens or not, that's why the games are played on the field and not on paper. But Penn State does legitimately have the best setup in the Big Ten and one of the best setups in the entire country. And you could argue that they have number one. And someone's going to say Texas. Clemson's very similar with what Penn State and returning quarterback. They get Tom Allen, right? Go figure. And they have offensive coordinators. So they have the continuity for the most part in the coaching staff. They go and bolster the defensive side. They have the returner, quarterback, consistency. They return the most production, and Penn State's the same way. So Penn State and Clemson are fairly similar. And James, you're right, James Franklin's in that area now where, okay, Dabo Swinney broke through. So when is James Franklin going to break through? And I think it's easier to do that when you finally get the elite coordinators up until Manny Diaz, Penn State wasn't necessarily getting its first or even second choice at coordinator for a while.
Yeah,
that's why James Franklin always, whether that's a backhanded way of saying the athletic department failed me, or it's just saying, hey, I really appreciate what I have now because my athletic director hears my concerns, and he says money is not an issue. You tell me what you need, and we'll find a way to make it work. Whereas for the better part of a decade, James was always told, no, you can't have that. You need to go third or fourth down your list, and it's I want Jim Knowles. Okay, let's go make it work. I want Andy Kotelnicki. Let's go make it work. So the idea that, well, James Franklin will just ruin everything, it's harder to do. If you're going to look at that from that frame of mind, it's harder to do that when you have Kotelnicki, Knowles, and all the assistants on staff that they've been able to accumulate over the past 2-3 years now.
Zach, if they do fall short of it, why will they? Barring injury.
Yeah, right. Circumstances aside, yeah. If you lose Drew Aller to injury, knock on wood. If you lose, I think there's definitely, to address those injuries briefly, Zach Wheatley and Zane Duran on the defensive side. I think those, and aside from Drew Aller, those are the players that you can absolutely not, and deny Dennis Sutton. You can't afford to lose them. Because they are a little thinner at those positions, and it's because of how just they're superstars. They are what are going to make Jim Knowles' transition to Penn State so much more seamless. If they get upset, it's because of those in-game decisions. It's because of coaching blunders or not having the game plan put together. It's going to be those circumstantial X's and O's. Sometimes you just get beat. At the end of the day, maybe you run into a Texas team or a Clemson team in the semifinal, or again, Ohio State's just a thorn in your side again. So I do think it can come down to some in-game decisions. But let's also not forget that Penn State was 3 points away from winning that game against Notre Dame and could have had a rematch with Ohio State. Not saying they would have won. I don't think they would have won. But Penn State was very close to reaching the title last year with the issues that they had, and they were so glaring. They fixed those issues. So if you can get to the semifinal, you can get very close to against the number 1 and number 3 defenses when you have no wide receivers. Now you have that core back that got you to that semifinal, and despite all of those issues, we're able to make it competitive and close. That's what I think puts Penn State over the edge. But yeah, you can never know with in-game decisions and stuff. So I do think it will come down to, hey. But remember, Jim Knowles and Andy Kotelnicki are really calling the plays there, so it's not going to be necessarily Franklin's responsible, but that's where it's going to be a coordinator battles and Drew Aller not folding, not turtling up in the big spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, we're 15 teams through this. It's the most complete team that we've done. I mean, we're through the SEC, we're through, most of the Big Ten, haven't done Ohio State yet, but everybody, I mean, there isn't much here. It's like, if not now, when? I guess that's why we started it that way. Going to be a fun season over there, bud. Thanks for your time today.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Zach Seyko, host of Locked On Nittanies. They're better than I thought. They have even fewer holes than I thought. And when you just look at them objectively, if not now, when? 3 things on a Friday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My toilet's clogged, backed up too. The sink is running slow. Water's backed up everywhere. Oh, please don't overflow.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS says Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota of Columbus. Summer is the perfect time to gear up in a new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus. Right now, drive home the 2025 Toyota Tundra with 1.99 APR for 72 months, or take command of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, also just 1.99 APR for 72 months. Get power, performance, and unbeatable savings, all at Germain Toyota, located at 5711 Scarborough Boulevard on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road. Shop online anytime at germaintoyota.net.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay minus 108 than minus 110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sports book. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team, we can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes, teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half-geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
And I'm his very overpaid celebrity endorser, Common Man. Bob, I heard somewhere, actually from you many, many times, that Worthington Jewelers is where Columbus gets engaged.
It's too bad you and Timmy can't engage the audience.
Good zing, Bob.
If you're thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, before we get to the poll question and three things on a Friday, this was on the New Heights podcast with the Kelseys. Here is Baker Mayfield.
And Emeka Egbuka is an absolute stud.
Ooh. Okay.
He's a real deal.
Yeah. What makes you say that?
Okay, you know how you just can't teach guys leaving the ground to catch the ball? He's always grounded when he catches it, keeps moving. There's yak potential out the wazoo there, but he's just so damn smart. I mean, he's willing to block, willing to do everything we ask him to do. But then, I mean, we can plug and play him at any of the three receiver spots right now. Yeah. It's pretty exciting.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. What do we have in the poll today, Reese?
Daily Fan Poll asks, with North Carolina football's over-under being at 7.5, do you think the Tar Heels will hit the over or the under in year one of the Bill Belichick era? 70% of you think it's going to go with the under.
Did you guys did them when I was out, right?
Yes.
Carolina. What did you come away with on that?
Could be over, could be under. Nobody has any idea.
They got no clue.
No idea.
They have no idea, like the roster. They don't, yeah.
Well, there's the transfer retention. I mean, their best player, when we did player we'd like to have in scarlet and gray, well, Ohio State has the player they'd like in scarlet and gray. And so for Bill, nobody had any idea. There's cautious optimism with the people that cover it because, well, you're not going to be pessimistic in July.
Yeah, so they get TCU to open the season in prime time, then Charlotte, Richmond, UCF in the non-conference. Their conference slate does include Clemson, no SMU, no Florida State, no Miami. So in that sense, it's probably about as easy as can be. But that's going to be a wild year for him down there, to say the least. All right, time for three things on a Friday.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number one for me, happy birthday, 45 years young to Caddyshack. Now, I've seen it for sure. It's among the 15 movies I've seen the most in my life for sure. I don't know that the boys have seen it yet. Here's the funny part about it, though. Probably the first 20 times I saw Caddyshack, it was on cable. So I had no idea.
It's a lot more fun on DVD.
It's a lot more fun. As intended, there's a lot more going on than what I thought. So it wasn't until I was like in college that I actually saw it as it was intended, and I went, oh, this is a much different, better movie this way. So, yeah, happy birthday, Caddyshack.
We had talked yesterday about Messi just no-showing Major League Soccer's All-Star game. It was like a very last-second announcement because he was voted by players and fans because, of course, he is. Like, he's their All-Star. But he no-showed it, and then there was talk that he could receive sanctions or a suspension or punishment. Mm-hmm. Well, that won't be the case.
No kidding.
He's not getting a single thing. He will be in the lineup for Miami because he's not injured, but he'll be playing for Miami against FC Cincinnati tomorrow night in Florida.
Didn't we say that yesterday? Like him with his feet up, Don Garber walks in. Kindly leave.
Here's the check.
Kindly leave. Go ahead.
First thing for me, I've said this before on the show, if there's one thing that my high school does really well outside of football Friday nights, it's alumni weekend, and that is this weekend for all the Grove City Greyhounds. It started off last night. Everybody was hanging out in town. Then tonight they'll close down the streets for a big festival downtown, and then the annual softball tournament gets underway Saturday morning. This is the first year that I am not playing in it.
What?
So it is it's a little weird for me, but it was fun being out last night, seeing people that you only see once a year or haven't seen longer than that, and it's always a blast to catch up with old friends.
Why are you not playing?
I'm getting old, Bo.
Come on, dude. Softball.
The hips hurting a little bit. And
you can't play some first base?
My team, actually, the team that I played with for most of my time hasn't played together for a long time. We still have a 99 team that plays.
Yeah.
But, it's just not with all my guys anymore, so
all right.
I'm going to step back this year. It's going to feel great Monday when I come in here not limping, though.
Number two for me. I mentioned that the 13-year-olds are going to play poker last night. So I can report no fights. So I sat them down and I kind of went over how to play Texas Hold'em and kind of what it was all about. And they played and they got along and nobody fought. And I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure that there would be some sort of disagreement that would lead to something being thrown that was broken, but it didn't. Everybody was well behaved. So good job out of the 13-year-olds, which is something I can very rarely say.
I'm going to make this my second thing. Over under on months until one or several of them start doing online poker.
Oh, I think it's probably already happening.
Like all the streamers, they have a sponsorship in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like those online casinos, I feel like they're everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's already happening, Reese. Yeah.
Second thing for me, I know we've talked a lot of pro wrestling this week, but our guy...
Oh, yeah!
Randy the Macho Man Savage is teaming up with the Cincinnati Reds soon. There is a company called Collect Major, and I guess they have a group of figures. Probably shouldn't search this at work, but big rubber guys. And they are going to have a Macho Man Cincinnati Reds figurine coming out sometime soon. It's just the Macho Man in like his normal garb with the robe and everything and the cowboy hat. But it is all Cincinnati Reds themed, so you better believe I'm going to be watching for when this comes out, and there'll be one on my doorstep when it does.
I wonder who's like negotiating on the Macha's behalf posthumously. Like, who's getting, now that he's gone, like, who's doing this?
Yeah,
who's greenlighting
maybe
this?
it's his brother Lanny. Who knows?
Could be.
That'd be Leapin' Lanny?
Leapin' Lanny, yeah.
Or the Genius. That was his best run, is the Genius.
That's right, he was the Genius. Vince with some of those characters was unreal. He really was. Finally, for me, my third one. Anytime I think to myself, okay, doing this cable stuff is still ridiculous. Like, what you're paying a month, like, this makes no sense. And then last night, as all these kids are in my house and they're playing poker and kids are running around, what did cable deliver? Cable delivered The Fugitive and A Few Good Men on at the same time.
Oh, boy.
And the commercials didn't match up, so I could go from one to the next, from I don't care to you can't handle the truth. Perfect.
That is
perfect
a win.
job. What a job.
Is that the iconic Tommy Lee Jones line?
Yeah.
It's in a short list.
Yeah, it's right up there. It's one I use on my wife a lot.
I'm sure it's gone over well every single time.
Yeah. I would just say I'm just quoting The Fugitive. What's your problem?
If you're wondering to yourself, hey, why wasn't the Big Ten at Lucas Oil Stadium this week for Big Ten Media Days? And it has been reported that was booked for this week. Well, you wonder what the heck could have booked it, that the Big Ten wouldn't have gotten in and said, no, we're in fact going to be using this stadium. The North American Youth Conference was at Lucas Oil.
Indianapolis is the only city in the Midwest
this week
that you could have held this thing at. You could have done it here.
Yeah.
You want the Saban thing? Do it here. We got hotels. We got convention centers.
Final thing for me, big show coming up for Rothman and Ice. They will talk to Jensen Lewis, also Tom Luganbill, and Devere Posey is in for AR as he continues his week not here.
Very good. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We're back on Monday. Thanks for listening, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate you snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your significant other will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, it stops your snoring. That's the point. It's quick, it's comfortable, and it's an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea. And he's helped countless patients breathe easier, sleep better, and live healthier, more energized lives. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Schedule your appointment now with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Once again, that's sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Colin Man here for Universal Windows Direct. Are your leaky windows costing you money? Yes, they are. Right now, when you call my guys at Universal Windows Direct, you get payments as low as $99 a month or 12 months with no payments and no interest. Seriously, upgrade your home now and relax until next year. Call now and get a free in-home window and energy assessment. Choose the payment plan that's right for you. 614-502-5220 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Final days. Diamonds Direct Summer Showcase ends this Sunday, but there's still time to make it unforgettable. Get an extra 20% off almost everything. Engagement rings, wedding bands, earrings, gold jewelry, tennis bracelets, and stunning fashion jewelry. Plus, this weekend only, top designers from New York and LA are live in store with exclusive collections you can't find anywhere else. The sparkle, the savings, the moment. Don't miss it. Only through Sunday, only at Diamonds Direct. Appointments are filling fast. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. I actually enjoy the off-season. Gives me a chance to be really active, travel, be on the move. But when my back started giving me pain, I wasn't going to just deal with it this time. I went to the Good Feet store. Their personally fit arch supports got my feet into their ideal alignment, and I could already feel the difference in my back immediately. And they educated me. I had no clue we actually have several arches under our feet, and those cushy over-the-counter insoles were not going to do the trick. So many people suffering with pain can benefit from their system. People with pain in their feet, ankles, lower legs, knees, hips, and more. I've been wearing my personally fit arch supports for a while now, and they've given me the motivation and confidence to be as active as I want to be. The Good Feet store thrives on being solution-oriented. Go in. The fitting is free. They want you to try them in the store and feel them for yourself. So get back to living the life you love with the Good Feet store. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City and on Polaris Parkway. Or check them out at goodfeet.com.
Hi, this is Bob Mashetter from Dick Mashetter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at mashetterford.net. Thanks.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlog projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help